sorry for being late. I had a swim meet, so I've delayed everything. I'm sorry.
You're okay. I'm always late, especially because we're streaming all this month, and I'm just like, ugh. I'm just like, I wake up and I'm just like, I think I'm getting stuff done, and then I'm just like, oh, we don't usually have a stream on Sunday. We have a stream on Sunday. Oh no, I was like running last week. I was just like, oh no. Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome. I don't know why I bothered hooking up the second monitor. I think we're fine. We just have books.
Yay.
We just have old-fashioned reading material. And when I say old-fashioned, I mean 90s reading material.
A to Z mysteries.
A to Z mysteries. People have been asking for these for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of people read them. This one was copyright 2004. I'm sorry, I thought they were 90s. They're early 2000s, which is basically the 90s, but just a little bit later.
Oh, this one came out this one's copyrighted for 2005. I remember the Junie B. Jones book back
I have
in
some
that
of those
early.
too.
I love Junie B. Jones. I just remember she's like, I'm gonna say a swear word. Okay, guts, and they're like, ha ha. Or wait, was that Junie B. Jones or was that Beatrice? I can't remember. Or
It was one of the two. Hi, Jet Riding Optimus Prime. Hi, Ellery. How is everybody?
Hi.
So I never read these as a kid, but I know that there's 26 of them, one for every letter. That's why we have the Vampire Vacation, the Zombie Zone,
the White Wolf,
the Absent Author.
I'm sure someone's like, what about the Absent Parent? But then that's too real. I'm sorry.
God. And then
Sorry,
there's 22 other ones this one's a library one, and these three are mine. I think I found some of them, and then some of them were sent. One of them was sent to me, but they are fan favorite books, so they're also short. So like, after all of the 6 weeks in a row of reading Monoland, 5 weeks in a row of reading Imagines, we just get to read these short books.
Oh my
These are
gosh.
60 pages, not even accounting for the fact that there's so many illustrations.
Yay,
So
pictures.
it's probably more like 30 pages when you take out all of the illustrations that are taking away, and it's large print. So yay. Hey Jay.
Hi Jay. Oh, side note, I remember, speaking of print size, I remember the print size for Winds of Winter was this big, and the book was this big, and I remember reading something about how the reason why the next book or George R. R. Martin's taking so long with I think it's Winds of Winter. The reason why he's taking so long is because apparently he unalived an important character that was supposed to be helpful for the ending. So I guess he's trying to write them back into the story, but I don't know if that's real or not. I just really want Winds of Winter and Songs of Spring, please.
I was told that we were being very quiet. I think I fixed it now.
Oh, whoops.
No, nothing. It was me. It was me. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Taylor Swift, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
I mean, the problem was the Motu, but technically I didn't set it correctly, so it's still me. The problem's still me.
No, it's the Motu's fault. Spencer's gonna come and be like, "Don't be back talking my
Motu." He comes in and he just is like, "You have to borrow this again." I'm like, "Oh, I do. I'm sorry." He's like, "Please get one." I'm like, "I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry."
Well, or no, you have to wait until we start streaming for that, so everyone can be like, "Spencer's here. Hi, Spencer." Hair flip. How's Spencer doing today?
Well, oops for George R.R. Oops for George R.R. says, that's a lot about, That can sum up a lot of things about Game of Thrones, I feel like, towards the end.
I feel
Much better. Yay, thank you for telling me, Rachel.
George R.R. he probably was too busy to see the season 8 of Game of Thrones and was probably like, they did what? Oh boy.
Oh god.
Here, let me busy myself by being Sharknado 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6 or something. Because George R. R. Martin is in one of those movies.
Is he really?
He is. He's in a movie theater and he gets caught by a shark very quickly.
George, we needed you.
But when the world needed him most, he vanished. Now the new Avatar.
Oh my god.
Oh, they're making a Legend of Ki. What's her name?
Korra?
No, the the earthbending avatar that was really BA and lived like over 230 something years old. It's like Kyoshi, Avatar Kyoshi. They're doing a or they're gonna do a TV show about her, and it's gonna be interesting because there's a lot of violent stuff that happens during her time as the Avatar, and she's the Avatar from age like 16 to 230 something.
Nice.
But,
Mr. Boone, the most based Avatar. I've only seen the series once all the way through, and then covered the terrible movie. That was terrible.
Shyamalan. Oh gosh, I remember seeing Legend of Korra, and people are there's a lot of arguments because people are like, no, Korra's not that great, or Korra is great, you just don't know. And I'm just like, I blame Nickelodeon because because it's Nickelodeon's fault that things kind of didn't go great, because the season 1 was supposed to be like the only season, which is why the ending was kind of rushed. But then they're like, oh, you get 3 more seasons. But then season 2 was kind of similar character beats of season 1, and then they were rushing things, but then they couldn't rush, and then they had to like, the last 5 episodes were online and they didn't air them, and there was such a long break between airing. But I do think that there were some things that happened that I don't know. I have thoughts, but I can't focus them all at once right now.
I agree, Marley, on the subject of George R. R. Martin. I don't think he expected his story to go in certain ways and just was like, oh, what do I do with it? And then he stopped writing them, and so then the writers of the show were like, oh, what do we do with it? I don't know. Oh, Rachel, I'm sorry. Rachel says, I have the flu. I feel like I'm dying. Can everyone please manifest me to get better? Yes, I'm so sorry.
Feel better.
Feel better. Sending you all the good thoughts.
Positivity.
Drink fluids.
All the fluids.
So many fluids. Korra was good, but also such a train wreck due to Nick's sabotaging. Yeah. The whole season with the spirit is hot. With the spirits is hot garbage.
Season 3.
Oh,
no,
the movie.
Season 2.
Read somewhere M. Night Shyamalan actually had early script versions where it was closer to season 1, but with force changes from the studio. Interesting. I mean, yeah, because there's definitely mixed signals, because like in some places they're like, we're gonna like change the pronunciation of this to make it like to like honor like the way that it would actually be said in, you know, native languages of Asia, and it's like, that's cool. And then you look and it's like, all of these actors are white guys. Like, what? I'm getting very mixed signals from this movie. I don't know what to do. Ellery said, whoop, I missed Ellery's comment. Kyoshi, the bisexual icon from my childhood, embodiment of be gay, do crime. That Kyoshi.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say Kyoto, but I'm like, no, that's wrong. Kyoshi, yeah. Good for Kyoshi for being like, yes, I'm amazing. I'm 236. You're welcome. Or Justice for Avatar. The waterbending one. I can't remember his name. Basically, the one before him was just like, yay people, but then the spirits are like, F you, and he had to deal with the spirits, and then one like took the face of his wife, and it's just like, well, that's sad. But everyone was like, you're just lazy, and he's just like, okay, that's fine.
This is fine.
I think Yang Chen is the one before him. I can't remember. And then I think his name started with a U. I know there's Avatar Roku. I remember him. He's the firebending one before Aang.
Every time I hear Roku, I think of like the smart TV, and then my brain is just like, Avatar Roku.
Or yeah, was it Tarnog? I can't remember. Side note, Korra's dad is very handsome, and I remember Danny Mata was doing a reaction where it was like, dang, look at him, he's ripped. I fear for anyone who is in his sights because they will be falling for him.
Marley Mars says, while the last Avatar movie was indeed horrible, to me, dear God, the Cats musical movie was yikes and truly awful. I had physical pain reactions. I feel like I saw a reviewer here on YouTube say that movie made me feel like I left the theater having less than I had before. Not knowing less, because there's a lot of movies where I leave feeling like I know less than I did before the movie. I felt like the movie had reached into my soul and taken something from me that I could never get back. And I was like, you know what? Accurate. I think that's accurate.
It's just great how some studios are like, here, let's just spend money on a Cats musical. It'll be fine.
They bumped the Wicked musical because they thought Cats was more marketable. Hi Sad Lump. The water one is Avatar Kuruk. Kuruk. Like the
Kuruk. Yeah. Sorry, thank you.
Sorry.
I watch all these I watch all these TV shows and I'm just like, Kuruk?
They are splitting the Wicked musical into 2 parts. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess we'll have to see.
I'm just imagining. Well, I feel like the first part one's gonna be like very happy and joyful. Then part 2 is just gonna be really sad.
Yeah, because like they're saying that they're ending the first one at Defying Gravity because that's where the intermission is, and you can't nothing can follow that. And like I get that, but also the second half of the movie is so sad.
Yeah. Side note: they better have Defying Gravity be like a finale.
It better be great.
It needs to be a finale. Like when she hits that last note, it needs to or when the actress who's playing Elphaba hits that last note, it needs to last for a long time. There needs to be like fade to black. It needs to be just really quiet for like 10 to 20 seconds, and then the credits roll, and then it's just like, this is so good, I need more, and then we wait a year.
Ellery says Kyoshi is such a wait, I just chat. Hang on. I'm sorry, I lost chat. Hang on.
Oh no.
Ellery says Kyoshi is such a sexy, morally great character. Recommend reading the novels.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. I remember she had a mentor, or she had her mentors. But, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just like, yay, bisexual icon, yay. Oh gosh, hopefully in the show it's just like, you're bisexual? What does that mean? And it's just like, no, I want Kyoshi to be like, I can get everybody I want. Hide everyone. Or hide all the adults from me because you will fall in love with me. Oh, and I remember
everyone loves me, fish fear me. That have you seen those memes with like it's like the country boys on like Tinder or whatever, they have like those like hats that say like women love me, fish fear me, and because it's like they're out there with like their Bass Pro Shop fishing, and so it became a meme where it's like where they like change it a little bit. It's like fish love me, women fear me.
Yep. Well, oh gosh, I think of like, you don't have to. Side note, I remember on farmersonly.com they had a commercial. I'm very proud of myself because I finally remembered something from school, because on farmersonly.com they show the picture American Gothic, which shows the man and the woman, and the man has the pitchfork and the woman is standing behind him and looking at him. That is not a husband and wife. That is a father and a daughter.
I did know this. Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, we found farmersonly.com. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like,
oh no.
Oh no. That's a father and daughter.
That was the commercial, wasn't it?
Yep. I felt so happy that I finally was able to look at something and be like, that is wrong. Or that is not what you think. That's a father and a daughter. But
nope. Yikes. You're good. Assuming the Wicked musical wants to incorporate from the book, but the book is good, oh boy. Oh, the book is good, but oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. There's just like full on sex scenes in the book where it's just like, this is just a whole chapter of Elphaba, what's his name, just going at it. It's just like, yeah.
Oh. Wait, how old are they?
I don't remember, but it's uncomfortable either way.
Oh. Okay. Side note, going back to Avatar, I just remember how a lot of the avatars that we see have girlfriends / wives, and there's a meme where someone's looking at Rava, who's like spirit, helps give them the spirit powers or of the avatar state and whatnot, and someone's just like, why are you gay or something like that to Rava, because all the avatars are getting these women and all that jazz, and it's just like, oh, okay. I was just thinking Kyoshi, bisexual icon, and I remember the airbenders are just like, love who you want, and I'm just like, hooray, that's great. That darn Fire Lord decided to get rid of him. How rude. How dare you be so bigoted.
Hi Bronson, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Gabe?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
How hot is it outside today?
It's warm outside. So warm. I had to stand outside from like 7:45 to like noon.
Fun fact, every Avatar that's been shown so far, regardless of gender, has Endgame been in a relationship with a woman thus far. Oh, nice.
Or sorry, I'm just nervous laughing because that the meme that I just talked about where someone's like, "Rava, why you gay?" But I'm not doing it like, "Oh, gay people" or anything. No, I just
Mars says about Wicked, I think they were in college. Hope I'm right.
18 plus.
Please.
Hopefully they leave some of those scenes out. I shouldn't say that because, positivity, and it's just like...
If it's 18 plus, it's fine. But it's just, it's like with the fact that we can't remember, I'm just like,
yeah, it's just, I don't know why I'm talking over myself. I'm very nervous for some reason. But yeah, if they're 18 plus, it's fine.
Rachel says, accurate, I fear the Fish Bros. Spencer wants us to cover MILF Manor because it's so ridiculous.
I would love to cover MILF Manor, but I've only seen the part of the first episode.
I've seen none of it. I've heard about it mostly from you, but from a couple other people.
Okay, or here, let me describe it for the audience out there. Okay, so you have a group of 8 women who are, I think, like 35 plus or 35 to 55 years old, and they're like, "Oh, cool, we're on a dating show, and we're gonna be dating some younger men." Find out that the plot twist is the dating pool is the other contestants' sons. That's right. All of them have one of their sons who are joining them at this resort, and they basically have to, or the sons have to watch their moms dating individuals their age, and the moms have to watch these other contestants date their sons. And that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is in episode 1, they have a challenge where they have to be blindfolded and find their son based on his torso. That's right. All the sons have to stand there shirtless, and all the moms have to feel their torso to guess their son.
What? Why would anyone think that's a good idea? With the exclusion of Nessa, who's there? Oh, Ellery is saying I think they're all 18 to 21. They're university age. So.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Crisis averted.
Yay.
With the exclusion of Nessa, who's the early exclusive, so Elphaba can continue to take care of her. I stand corrected. Elphaba is like 20 or 21 at the start of the story. Okay, fine, but still. I mean, if they're 20, 21, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That might not be something everybody is necessarily like, I'm excited to see that. But it's still fine. It's not like at least morally wrong.
Yeah.
And yes, what? Why would anybody think that's a good idea? Is accurate. That's accurate. That's why Spencer was like, you guys have to cover this. This is insane.
Yeah. Oh, and side note, the mothers and sons share a room.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, the mothers and sons share a room.
So much therapy.
So, and it's on Discovery Plus, so I can watch it if we want to talk about it. And I can just be like, "Hi, I'm gonna need the TV for a little bit. I need to watch Discovery Plus so I can watch MILF Manor."
If we decide that we're not doing a podcast tonight because Spencer has 7 episodes on a hard drive right now, we'll just be like, let's watch MILF Manor.
We could do like an episode 1 discussion real quick. Just be like, what is happening?
What's happening? Just like as a regular video. Like,
Or, Chad, should we podcast about MILF Manor, Jurassic Park, Naked and Afraid some more, Cycle 4 of America's Next Top Model, or like Neon Genesis Evangelion?
I have a couple of older story podcasts to do, but we'll see. Well, Spencer has 7 podcasts currently on a hard drive, and he's just like, I'm like, Spencer, get the first one out. He's like, I'm trying to work on the opening. My hope is they include Lear for the second half of the film.
Who is Lear?
Character.
The what character?
I just said character. It's. Oh. I'm trying to think of a way to describe. Oh,
was he in any of the musical numbers? I only remember that first act songs because the other ones are so depressing. Fierro. No good deed goes unpunished. Sorry, my
No
singing's
one
terrible.
mourns the wicked.
Oh, poor Alphaba. They're
Yes.
like, you're green, we hate you. And they're like, Glinda, you're blonde, we love you.
Yeah, it's like Tookie's one eye. It's too green.
Heterophobia.
So Lear is Elphaba and Fiero's love child in the novels. The real squick of Elphaba and Fiero is that Fiero was married when they met. Yeah.
And doesn't Fiero become the Scarecrow essentially? Because like you have like the random cowardly lion that could talk, and then the guy that Nessa like becomes, I think, the Tin Man, and Fiero becomes the Scarecrow. But then it's like, wait, the Scarecrow and Dorothy kind of had some chemistry going on, so it's just like,
Oh yeah, they were supposed in the movie. They were supposed to be like a thing because it was supposed to be like she's got a crush on him because he's like the embodiment of like the college age kid from, or the guy who's about to go off to college that works on the farm or something.
yeah, I just remember like, or I can't remember his name, but he's like, oh, I like your sister,
Yeah,
but
he's a
because she's
Scarecrow.
beautiful.
Yeah, I guess it's not that hard to explain. He's her kid, but then like him existing isn't that hard to explain. It's just the relationship of how it happened is kind of messy.
I just remember one time where one of my friends, she had like a chorus concert type thing, and they were doing the where it's like, right on down to the Oz Dust Ballroom, come on, or Dancing Through Life. It was during Dancing Through Life, and the part was find the prettiest girl, give her a whirl, but the guy looked at another guy and like gave him a whirl, and it was just like, oh, I love it.
Aww.
This is great. And apparently the chorus teacher was like, don't do that like
Aww.
beforehand, but it's just like, no, they're gonna do it, and it's adorable.
No, the Scarecrow wasn't Dorothy's uncle. All three, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion, are all based off the farm hands, and the Scarecrow is based off the one that Dorothy had a crush on canonically, and then they just cut all those scenes out, but there's still some of it left, like where she's like, Scarecrow, I think I'll miss you most of all, right? And like they have their little like dance sequence, and like there was more. There was a lot more. So yeah, that's like that was canonically her love interest. They just decided for whatever reason after the whole thing was filmed that they didn't need it, so they just cut it out, but it's still kind of there. I found 2 more Charmed books. Woo!
Yay.
Oh, one has the G word in the title. Oh. Ah.
Oh no.
The redacted.
Not the. Oh gosh. Get rid of that word.
She also doesn't remember giving birth because she has retrograde amnesia of her entire pregnancy, or at least pretends to, so as to protect Lear from the legitimate children, from the legitimate children, because Fiero is a prince. Yeah, there's a lot of soap opera level stuff going on.
I didn't realize that was going. So is this during the first act or the second act where she's like, oh yeah, okay.
Second.
I had a baby.
This is post Defying Gravity.
Nothing's gonna bring me down. Yeah. I had a baby. Nothing will bring me down. I will fly with my baby. Wait, I had a baby?
Yikes for Dorothy's uncle. It's not Dorothy's uncle. The Scarecrow is not Dorothy's uncle.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. All the shenanigans. Avatar. I don't know.
Avatar.
I want to be a waterbender.
I don't know what bender I'd want to be. I think firebenders are cool, but they're just so destructive.
You just gotta learn to heat in life and yada yada yada. Don't be like Aang during that one episode where he's like, fire ring. Oh no, Katara's hands. Spoilers.
Yeah, she gives birth in the musical between what is Defying Gravity and the start of Act 2.
Oh, okay. That'll be interesting where if on the part 2, we just open up on a baby just living life, and we're like, who's this baby? And Alphaba's like, I've completely forgotten the last 9 months of my life. Oh well.
I mean, if you're gonna forget anything, I guess childbirth is probably an experience you'd rather forget.
Yeah.
Like the actual birthing process.
Anyone who's given birth out there, would you rather forget? Because I know something about like their endorphins like flood the system, afterwards, and my mom's like, "Oh no, giving birth was great," and I'm like, "Mom."
There's no way that's true, Mom.
Both my sister and I were over 9 pounds. They thought I was a twin. I don't think that it was that pleasant. But she's either lying to me or was like, "Oh yes, everything was fine.
Oh, everything's fine.
Everything's fine."
Oh, you're good, Marley. So Act 2 jumps like 7 years in the novel, so we meet Lear as like a 7-year-old after she was hiding out in a convent? Question mark.
Oh, she has a baby at a convent.
Oh, if we keep talking about Wicked, we're gonna have to read Wicked, and then we're gonna have to be like, and then this one chapter happened anyway.
La, 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 la.
Like I did with that Justin Bieber chapter.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that. Oh gosh, that reminds me of the Nick What's His Face chapter.
The boxing one?
Yes, that was 50 pages for no reason.
I think you and I might be the only people that actually read that book start to finish, and I love that for the rest of humanity, and I hate that for us.
Well, we're one of the few people who's read Model Land and admit it.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't make it to the end of Model Land, which I don't blame anybody for.
Yep.
Do you want to start us off reading?
Sure.
Or yep.
I shall
The chapter is like 10 pages, but it's more like 6 because of the amount of, so it's short.
Okay. Should I do the stereotypical, "I am Dracula"?
Wicked is fairly tame for some of the smut I've seen read on stream, to be fair. We could definitely do it if we wanted to. We just have to be like, and then we're at this chapter anyway.
I'm just a prude. I don't like to read things the way they normally are. I get uncomfortable.
Oh my god, I'll have to tell you about this web serial like thriller mystery that we're reading. It's a lot. It's an unauthorized fan treatise. It's about this teenager that's obsessed with these 2 male actors on the show that she likes because she's convinced that they're secretly gay for each other. And so she starts stalking them to prove her theory. And as she's stalking them, she uncovers a murder.
Oh.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
Oh, gosh. Side note, that reminds me of an anime I just watched called Kiss Him, Not Me. And part of the premise is there's like a girl, one of her favorite characters passes away in a show tragically, and then she loses a bunch of weight because she was bigger before, but now she's pretty. And then she basically has a... Can I say harem on stream?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. She basically has a reverse harem. And it is just so interesting, and then she later gains the weight back, but then they're like, if you do this amount of push-ups, the 2 of the guys will hold hands, and if you lose the weight, then these 2 will like kiss the other on the cheek. And I'm just like, what?
Marley Mars says, I think you guys should read Wicked books. Should read the Wicked book.
I mean,
I'm down if Gabe's down.
I'm down. It's just that the chat you might get a little bit of me being like very childish during those chapters because I don't know how to react.
That's okay. Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation bonus chapter. The Incense Burner chapter includes graphic depictions of consensual non-consent, and I've seen someone read the whole scene out loud, so, like, we'll be fine. YouTube is very picky and choosy about, like, what it deems as not appropriate for certain advertisers.
Well, I feel like we could talk about, like, a gory scene, or talking about the Dennis Nedry getting got scene in Jurassic Park. They're like, yeah, that's fine, but, like, consent.
The symbol monster. You're fine.
Oh gosh. And then it's just like 2 adults doing that, and YouTube's like, ew, gross, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, chapter 1. Careful going over the curb or you'll spill the whole pile. Dink cautioned his friend Josh. You and Ruth Rose are supposed to be holding on to it, Josh answered. We are holding, Josh, Ruth Rose said, but you're pulling the wagon too fast. An hour before, Dink and Josh had helped Ruth Rose clean some old newspapers out of her basement. Now they were hauling the papers to the recycling bin at the supermarket. For the job, Ruth Rose borrowed her little brother Nate's wagon. It was early August and the sky was filled with cotton candy clouds. The kids wore shorts and t-shirts. Ruth Rose liked to dress all in one color. Her shorts and shirt were sky blue. They matched her eyes, headband, and sneakers. The kids crossed Main Street in front of the supermarket. Almost there, Dink said, struggling to keep the tower of papers from toppling. A drop of sweat fell from the tip of his nose. Dink's real name was Donald David Duncan. Most people called him Dink, except his mother, when she was annoyed with him. The kids tugged at the wagon to a row of tall wooden bins at the side of the supermarket. Each bin was labeled according to what was being recycled, and one was for newspapers. Dink pulled open the door. The kids began tossing bundles of papers inside. Boy, that was hard work, Josh announced when they were finished. He grabbed the wagon handle. Let's go inside and get something to drink. Dink and Ruth Rose followed Josh into the supermarket. The automatic door swooshed open, and they were immediately bathed in cool air. They found a machine in the frozen food section, and each bought a cold soda. Guys, look, whispered Josh. He tipped his soda can toward the meat counter. A few customers waited while a butcher sliced steaks. Why are we looking at steaks? Dink asked. You're always thinking of your next meal, Josh, said Ruth Rose. No, I mean the guy standing there, Josh said. He pointed at a man dressed completely in black. His slicked back hair was also black. His skin was ghostly pale. Dark sunglasses were perched above his long nose. I wonder who he is, Josh said. I've never seen him in Greenlawn before. Yeah, Greenlawn, that's the name of the town. I haven't either, Dink said. I hope their lawn is yellow. I'm just kidding. But so what? I don't know everybody in town. Ruth Rose peeked over a display of frozen chickens to get a better look. Something about him looks familiar, she said. Do you know what he looks like? Do you know what he looks like to me? Josh asked. And there's like a photo.
Yeah. Sorry, the top-down camera is a little bit wonky currently, but yes, there's a photo.
Yes, a very accurate description of what's happening. A man buying meat, Dink said. Josh shook his head. No, he looks like a vampire. The world is a vampire. It's the only part of the song I know. Dink grinned at Josh. Have you ever seen a vampire, Josh? He asked. No, but I know what they look like. Josh pointed toward the man. Vampires have skinny lips and really pale skin, like him. Ruth Rose laughed. Your skin is pale. Are you a vampire? She said. I am not pale, Josh said. I have freckles.
I'm pale.
I'm pale. Unless I tan, then I get freckles. The man strolled away from the meat counter. Let's follow him, Josh said. Why? Dink asked. Because he's weird, Josh said.
What?
Oh gosh, if people followed people for being weird, then I would just have a mob.
Oh, you're not weird, Gabe.
Thanks.
I'm trying to figure out how to fix this. Sorry guys. I was like, the top-down camera should be on, probably, maybe.
Oh, side note, I forgot my origami paper at home, unfortunately, so we aren't getting any Dino Army.
Not the Dino Army.
The Dino Army. Why? Por qué?
Okay, let's see if that... you can keep reading. I'm just going to try to get the thing on so they can see the stuff.
Illustration, yeah. Because he's weird, Josh said. Who wears sunglasses inside a store? That reminds me of Supernatural. It's like, who wears sunglasses at night? Some non-talented D-bags. Lots of people do, Josh, Dink said. Guys, we have to go home for more newspapers, Ruth Rose said. My mom is paying us, remember? We can do that later, Josh said, finishing his drink. Come on, the guy's leaving. Shaking their heads, Dink and Ruth Rose followed Josh, who took off after the man in black. Suddenly, the man stopped in the doorway. He turned and seemed to stare right at the three kids. The store lights reflected off his glasses like tiny lightning bolts. The man smiled and nodded at the kids. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose froze. The man in black shoved the door open and walked out. Oh my gosh, Josh whispered. He saw us following him. No, he saw you following him, Ruth Rose said. I'm going home to help my mom. The guy is pretty strange, Dink said. I got goosebumps when he looked at us. That's because it's air conditioned in here, Ruth Rose said. Can we go now? I want to see where he's going, Josh said. Crouching, he pulled the wagon through the door. Dink and Ruth Rose were right behind him, laughing. The stranger made his way down Main Street. The kid stayed behind him. Suddenly, he disappeared inside a doorway. He's gone into Ellie's, Josh said. Gee, I didn't know vampires ate real food, cracked. Don't they just drink blood? AKA red body juices. Josh ignored Dink. We're going in too, Josh said. But let's wait a couple of minutes. We don't want to look like we're following him. But we are, Ruth Rose pointed out. Well, we don't have to advertise it, Josh said. Let's get ice cream, like we usually do. The kids left the wagon outside and pushed through the door to Ellie's diner. Ellie had her back to them. The kids glanced around at all the seats. The man in black was nowhere to be seen. Where'd he go? Josh whispered. Are you sure he came in here? Dink said. Maybe he went into the pet shop next door. I know he came in here, Josh said. He peeked under the booth. Let's ask Ellie. Ask me what? Ellie asked. She turned around just as she finished sticking a small round band-aid on the side of her neck.
Very
End of
conspicuous.
chapter 1. Yeah, ooh.
Chad is just roasting these children. I love this so much.
Oh.
Hang on. I got it. I got it working.
Yay.
Just trying to get it centered. It's centered-ish. It's centered-ish. There we go. I can live with that. Let's see. And make it bigger. Make it bigger. And then put the black magic up here. Put the black magic up here. Put the black magic up here.
Put it up here.
Holy God, put it... Oh my God. Fine, bring it down. Fine. Be pedantic about it. I don't care. Alright, move this. Put this over here. And then transition. There we go. Alright.
So, the chat's roasting the kids?
Yeah, so everybody's like... Ellery goes, Ruth Rose, that sure is a name. And then I was like, they call him Dink.
That reminds me of Dink the dinosaur.
Pivot. Can't a vampire just enjoy the day without being bullied by some snot-nosed kids SMH?
Yes. We want to make it look like we're not following, but we are. Why? I'm sorry, if I have to choose between potentially finding a vampire that's just minding their own business and getting paid, I would like to get paid by taking newspapers. But, you know, that's just me.
Okay, so I don't want to move this down. We've already had spillage happen.
Oh gosh, please be very careful when getting out.
It's fine. Everything's fine. So, here, now, last thing, I'm going to move this so that I just want to... Oh, sorry, I hit you in the book.
Oh no, you're
I just wanted them to be able to see this.
Look at the pictures, wow.
There are pictures!
Wow.
Also, the bat's doing one of those little flappy things where you turn the pages really fast. My arms are short.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's all good. I remember I was watching like a paleontologist reacts to scenes from dinosaur films, and one of them was in Jurassic World when the pteranodons and dimorphodons escape, and he was talking about how the way that the pteranodons and dimorphodons are flapping, he's like, oh, they're flapping directly up and down, but when you do that, you're just like pushing yourself up and down in like one spot, so they wouldn't really be able to fly. You need to like curve your wings.
My poor guy is just out here being cool and serving looks, and they're just like, let's stalk him. Let's do that.
Let's just be mean and just follow because he looks weird.
So yeah, those are the book. Chapter 2. Did a guy all dressed in black come in? Josh asked. Ellie looked confused. In my diner? When? On my Christian Minecraft server? Have you seen that meme?
I have not seen that meme.
Where people are like, no swearing in my Christian Minecraft server.
Oh.
Just a minute ago, he had black hair and pale skin, Dink said. His name is D-I-N-K, Dink. Dink.
I don't know. Someone probably said it wrong and was like, we'll just call you Dink.
It just reminds me of Logan Paul and his Dink Doink coin. Remember the crypto coin scam that he was trying to peddle and it was called Dink Doink?
I haven't kept up with him since the forest situation,
Oh.
the Japanese forest situation.
I'm so jealous of you.
I mean, thank goodness Vine's not around, or else he'd probably be on it.
He was on it back when Vine was around.
But that was before he became problematic. Well, that was when he was less problematic. Probably.
People dress all in black in this economy?
Is that really what it's?
That's what this comment says. Not here. They weren't saying in this economy here.
Well, I'm kind of dressed in almost all black.
Woo!
It's so warm out.
Oh no! And doesn't that attract all the sunlight? Doesn't
yes.
Yeah.
But I was wearing blue, but that attracts mosquitoes.
Just a minute ago, he had black hair and pale skin, Dink said. Ellie shook her head. I don't know, she said. He might have. I was out back getting supplies. I saw him walk in here, Josh said, peering over the counter. Then why are you asking her? Well, he's not here now, Dink said. Let's get some ice cream. Dunk on the vampires who can't eat ice cream. Ellie followed them to a booth. Cones all around, she asked the kids. Your usual flavors? The kids all nodded, and a few minutes later, Ellie brought 3 cones. Butter, you want to hear their ice cream orders? Because you're gonna. Butter crunch for Dink, pistachio for Josh, and strawberry for Ruth Rose. They all have bad choices when it comes to ice cream.
Oh, I think strawberry is the best.
Strawberry's fine, yeah.
No chocolate, no coffee. Okay.
No mint chip. I'm disappointed.
Oh, mint chocolate chip.
No Rocky Road. No cookie dough. There were so many choices. As they licked their cones, Josh stared through the window. What are you looking for? Dink asked. The vampire guy, Josh said. He's not a vampire, Josh, Ruth Rose said. Everyone knows vampires sleep during the day and come out at night. Same. They hate the sun. Same. Maybe this one's on vacation, Josh said. Dink started to laugh and nearly choked. Josh, why would a vampire pick Greenlawn for his vacation, he asked. But Josh wasn't listening. Maybe it's because the blood is, like, top tier.
At Greenlawn.
He's there for the he's there for the I was gonna say like winery, but like whatever the blood version of a winery is, like that old episode of Scare Tactics where they made the girl think that they were siphoning blood out of people to make wine. Scare Tactics was a wild show.
Or that also reminds me of just It, where it's just like, oh, he just happened to end up there, and so this is his vacation year.
Yep.
Getting blood.
But Josh wasn't listening. He had his nose against the window. There he is again, Josh shrieked. Dink and Ruth Rose craned their necks to look. Ellie walked over to see what the commotion was about. The commotion is the poor man is just like, do, I'm walking, and the kids are just like, follow that vampire.
They hop in a car, follow him, but he's in the park, follow him.
Nostalgia content is so funny because it goes one of two ways. Either everybody's like, "Oh, Small Bean, that's my favorite thing," or it's just like, "These kids are stupid," and it's usually nothing in between. The man in black was crossing Main Street near the Swan Pond. Sorry, very good. I'm fine. I'm good.
That's good.
Doesn't he look like a vampire to you? Josh asked Ellie. Ellie didn't answer. When Dink glanced at her, Ellie seemed afraid. She backed away from the window and walked behind her counter. Josh crunched the last of his cone, then pushed his way out of the booth. He's heading down Main Street. I'm following him, he announced. You guys coming? Sure, why not? Ruth Rose said. I want to be there when the vacationing vampire grabs you. Can I at least finish my cone? Dink asked. He and Ruth Rose followed Josh out to the street. He's going into the book nook, Dink told Josh. I'm going to go into the book nook.
And Avery was sitting there going, what the heck, guys?
I'm reading this book, just being like, guys.
Keep it down in here. I'm having fun.
Oh my god, I can't stop yawning. Sorry. I wonder what vampires read when they're on vacation, Ruth Rose said, taking the last bite of her cone. Let's find out, Josh said, heading for the bookstore. They stopped in front of the Howard's barber shop while Dink finished his ice cream. Josh kept an eye on the book nook door. Okay, let's go, said Dink, wiping his mouth on his sleeve. Dink, have you no manner? Were you raised by wolves?
At least ask for a napkin, so when you're done, just wipe your mouth and throw it away.
Dink and Ruth Rose followed him into the book nook. A bell tinkled, and Mr. I'm so sorry. Paskey, sorry, looked up from behind his counter. He smiled and waved at the kids. 2 teenagers were reading magazines. The only other person in the store was Mr. Paskey. He's not here, Dink whispered. I don't believe this, Josh choked out. The guy keeps disappearing. What does he do, walk through walls? Hi, kids, can I help you? Mr. Paskey asked. I don't know why that was my voice for Mr. Paskey, but that's what we're... Hi, Mr. Paskey, Dink said. Did a man wearing black just come in here? Mr. Paskey rubbed his neck. No, I don't think so. But I was in the storeroom for a minute or two. Nobody's manning the store everywhere. Everybody's like, I stepped out the back. I was chain smoking.
Slackers.
I suppose he could have come in and left again. Josh shook his head. I was watching. He came in, but he didn't come out, he said. Sorry, Mr. Paskey said. He raised his eyebrows and shrugged. Did you kids leave this? Asked Mr. Paskey, reaching toward the cash register. He held up a $20 bill. The kids shook their heads. How odd, Mr. Paskey said. Someone left this bill on the counter. He looked at the money for a second, then shrugged again. Do you have any books about vampires? Josh asked. I think there's one over in non-fiction. Mr. Paskey answered. It's called Vampires Among Us by Dan Starch. I have several questions, but I'm going to get to the end of the chapter first. We're almost there. The kids found the non-fiction books, then looked for Starch. They found a book by Wanda Starr, then one written by Peter Starkey, then a space between them was empty. It's the world's most narcissistic vampire. He's like, let me read about the books about me. I only read about me.
Plot twist, he wrote it.
Yeah, right. Mr. Paskey, said Josh, we found where the book should be. Oh my god. But it's gone. Mr. Paskey walked over to the shelf. He put his finger on the space between the 2 books. Now that is peculiar, he muttered, crouching low. It was here an hour ago when I dusted this shelf. When Mr. Paskey leaned over, his neck was level with Dink's eyes. As usual, Mr. Paskey wore a crisp white shirt, a necktie, and a suit jacket. Dink smiled. Even in this hot weather, Mr. Paskey dresses up, he thought. And then Dink noticed a small round Band-Aid right above Mr. Paskey's shirt collar. They're all getting got. They're all getting got. This is a picture of them looking for the vampire book and being like, it's not there. We even know how the Dewey Decimal System works.
Oh gosh, the Dewey Decimal System. I never learned to read that. Dun dun dun. So yeah, he's going in stealing all the information about vampires and sucking blood and giving money.
Josh, a man just offered you free money. The answer is yes, that is mine. It reminds me of that Brandon Rogers video. I'm gonna start a rumor about Marcy. I'm gonna start a rumor about those kids. I'm gonna start a rumor about myself. It just reminds me of the Rumor Weed episode of VeggieTales where they're just like, I'm the Rumor Weed.
Ooh, ooh, I'm the Rumor Weed. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my gosh, I watched that like several years ago, and that's the only episode I watched.
A tiny little story is all I need to make a big mess. I'm the Rumor Weed. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh my gosh. I remember they had like a Jonah and the Whale episode, and it's just like, oh, you stole our food. It's like, oh, the food was just sitting out in a large bowl, so they thought they could have some. You ate our food. Get in the water. Okay. Oh no, I'm in a whale.
Hi guys, can't really stay, but I'm leaving stream on. Oh, thank you, Paolo. Hope you have a good day. Ellery says not one taste bud among them about the ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Good on you, Gabe. I'm not exactly sure for what specifically, but good on you, Gabe. Just in general.
Oh gosh, just existing. Or
for not following Logan Paul. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good for that. Everything I know about Logan Paul, I know against my will. Every 3 months he does something stupid, and all of YouTube is just like, can we stop this guy? And everybody's just like, nope. YouTube's still making money off of him, and it's just like,
Oh, I remember. Wasn't it during the I think it was during the America's Next Top Model video you just put out where we talked about how he was in the news because he kept a teacup pig and didn't realize it doesn't say teacup for its whole life, and they found it was abused, and luckily the pig
is fine now in a good home, but also fuck Logan Paul.
Yeah, you don't hurt animals and expect us to be like, he's fine. No.
I mean, I'm very pale, Rachel. I also am pretty nocturnal.
Are you a vampire?
I might be. My name is also Vandenhouten, which if a vampire had a last name, that would be their name.
Oh no.
The healthcare in the area is great. Some awesome blood labs in the area. Like that episode of Beyond Belief where they're just like drinking the blood, like the blood bank dry because they're vampires.
Oh.
And then they're like, that happened. And we're like, what?
I guess iron, but also, they also scan it for diseases, so it's good blood. That just reminds me of, I can't remember whom, but there were like horseback riders back in the day who are just like, oh no, we don't have food, let's just drink horses' red body juices. And that's just all they would eat.
You're right, Pizza, they didn't pay.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, did they pay for their ice creams? Unless they have a tab and their parents are like, here's the $20 we owe you.
These kids definitely gonna get their blood slurped if they don't leave this man alone, and we're gonna feel no sympathy.
Ruth Rose is just gonna be like, well, I said no, but then I followed him. But I said no at first.
Also, I think Ellie and the bookstore guy, the ice cream lady and the bookstore guy were totally making out. Because they were both like, oh, I was in the back room and didn't see you.
Oh, and they had to cover up the spot on their neck. Oh, I thought...
Sorry.
I thought he was drinking blood, but no, it's covering up hickeys.
I'm sure that's what I'm supposed to think, but I'm just like... They were both on break at the same time.
Well, good for them.
Good for them.
I hope they have a lovely future together reading books and eating ice cream.
That's what everybody can want. Camera, why are you cameraing right now? Camera's just like, what, you want me to run 2 of them at the same time? And I'm like, yes.
Well, I want to suck your blood.
Yes, I'm a vampire. My first action of evil is to hypnotize these 3 kids into walking far away from me.
Restraining order, but instead you just hypnotize them and just be like, you must stay 100 yards away from me while I'm here.
Oh, those 90s teens hanging out reading People magazine.
Gotta know the gossip about all the 90s people. Jurassic Park is a huge hit.
God, when I was a teenager, I went through like a TLC phase because I was that kind of messy. And I was just like, ooh, My Strange Addiction is on. That's the real scandal right there. It's just the lady that's like, I eat charcoal. Only charcoal. That's it.
Oh gosh, I'm just like, oh, that's probably not good for your stomach.
No.
I don't know. Oh well. But isn't it usually like, oh, this person has a deficit in this specific vitamin, mineral, or whatnot, and that's why they crave carbon?
It's always somebody that has either had a traumatic experience or has some kind of medical issue going on where they have some kind of deficiency, like an iron deficiency. But instead of like anybody being like, let's help get to the bottom of this issue and figure out why you're eating charcoal, the cameramen are just like, let's put a camera in this person's face. This will be great.
Oh,
2 o'clock TV.
The cameraman who had to stick a camera in Janash's face on Cycle 2, Episode 1 of America's Next Top Model. Waha. The kids thanked Mr. Paskey and left his shop. I wonder who left that $20 bill on Mr. Paskey's counter, Ruth Rose said. I bet it was that guy. I know he went in there, Josh griped. People don't just vanish. But maybe vampires vanish, Ruth Rose said, grinning at Josh. Dink laughed. He pretended to read the newspaper headlines. Vacationing vampire vanishes. Laugh, you guys, Josh said. But I think that guy is definitely weird. And did you notice how Mr. Paskey didn't even think it was strange that some guy disappeared inside his shop? Dink thought for a minute. Mr. Paskey, not the only one who's not acting like... Mr. Paskey is not the only one who's not acting like himself. When we saw that guy through the window in Ellie's diner, Ellie looked afraid of something, he said. She was probably afraid Josh would choke because he was gobbling his ice cream so fast, Ruth Rose said. Now can we go home? We can have lunch at my house. A few minutes later, they reached Ruth Rose's house. But you should have gotten that second set of newspapers, you guys, lazy workers. They walked to the backyard with the wagon. Ruth Rose's brother, Nate, was sitting at the picnic table. In front of him were a box of plastic action figures, some crayons, and drawing paper. Hey, Nate, what are you doing? Dink asked. Drawing you guys, Nate said, holding up a picture. It showed Spider-Man and Superman fighting a purple monster. Where's Mommy? Ruth Rose asked her brother. Here I am, her mother said, popping up from the open cellar hatchway. Thanks for taking those newspapers away, she said. There are plenty more down here when you feel like working. I'll have sandwiches and lemonade in the fridge for you. Thanks, Mom, Ruth Rose said. We'll take more papers later. The kids brought their lunch to the picnic table, and Ruth Rose cleared a space. As they ate, they watched Nate trying to write words on his picture. Can I help? Ruth Rose asked her brother. Right, I give up, said the monster. Oh, and here's a picture. Ooh, look at that fancy picture. It's so good, and there's monsters and vampires, and wow, that's so great. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing. Can you see the bottom? Yes, oh, look at the sandwiches. They look so good. Everything's great. Cool.
Perfect.
I can just narrate like that. Oh, look at the bottom. It's like across the screen.
I love how you made Ruth Rose's mom sound so prissy, Pizza says.
Well, my first thought was make her, like, creamy, but not as much of a terrible person. Ruth Rose, darling. Yes, I named you Ruth Rose because you need two names, because you are fabulous, my daughter. You will grow up and you will be a strong, independent woman, just like Angelica from Rugrats, because she has a strong, independent mother. Is Rugrats around during this time? I have. Yes, this is 2000s. Yes, they are around. Yes, I am a powerful woman. Yes. Nate told Ruth Rose. He handed her a purple crayon. That's a neat color, Dink said. It's party purple, Nate told him. And guess what? It smells like jelly beans. Ruth Rose printed the words, then pointed to each one in turn as she read them aloud for her brother. Thanks, Ruth Rose, said Nate. He grabbed the picture and ran to show his mother. I wonder if that guy we saw sleeps hanging upside down, Josh said. I hate to spoil your fun, Dink said. Bats sleep that way, not people. And vampires aren't real, Ruth Rose said. Dracula was a real person, Josh said. I read about him, but Dracula wasn't really a vampire, said Ruth Rose, and he passed a long time ago. Josh wiggled his eyebrows. How do we know he's really unalive? Ruth Rose laughed. She reached into Nate's box and pulled out a miniature plastic Count Dracula. Here he is, she said. See, Josh said, he looks just like the other guy, dressed in black. Except this one has long fangs, Ruth Rose said, standing the vampire on his plastic feet, painted on red body juice dripped down his painted on red body juice dripped down his fangs. Yes, this guy right here looks just like the guy that we've been seeing this whole time.
I see no flaws in this children's logic.
And then he's probably right the whole time, and it's like, but how? The guy we're following might have fangs, Josh said. We didn't see his teeth. Suddenly, Dink remembered something. Guys, did you notice that Mr. Paskey was wearing a band-aid on his neck, he asked. I did, Ruth Rose said. A little round one, right here. She pointed a finger to the side of her own neck. Well, Ellie had one just like it on her neck, Dink went on. Josh stopped chewing and his eyes widened. Swallow, Josh, Ruth Rose said. Josh gulped, then took a swig of lemonade. Don't you guys get it? He asked. Vampires bite people on their necks to get red body juices.
No.
I'm not kidding around anymore. I think that guy really is a vampire. The only vampires are on TV, Joshua, Ruth Rose said. Who says? Josh argued. There are a lot of things that people don't think are real that they turn out to be. Dink was staring at Josh. Like what? Like the flat earth. I'm just kidding. Josh stared back. Like giant squids. Well, that is true. They did find evidence of that. He said, but giant squids are real, Ruth Rose said. Scientists have found their bodies washed up on the shore. No one's found any vampire bodies that I know of. That doesn't mean there aren't any, Josh said. There could be a lot of vampires that people don't know about. And you think that guy in black is one of them, right? Dink said. Josh nodded. I'm starting to. Well, whoever he is, I still think I've seen him somewhere, Ruth Rose said. He's a famous actor who played a vampire in a movie. Robert Pattinson.
I think Josh is going to grow up to be a Truth Social user as an adult, and that worries me.
Truth Social?
It's Trump's, like, oh my god, we can say anything social media platform, and then all the conspiracy theories get, passed around.
Oy vey.
Yeah.
Oh no. I thought you were going to be like, oh, he's going to be one of those ghost hunters.
I mean, he could be that too. He could be like, he could grow up to be like, what's his name? The guy from Ghost Adventures, where he's like, Zach. Where he's like, Zach Baggins, where he's like, bro, did you see that, bro? That was totally a ghost, bro. If you've never seen Ghost Adventures, you're really missing out.
I am missing. Oh gosh, I haven't. The only show that I've been consistently watching has been Bravo shows and Bluey.
Aww.
And Amphibia. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you haven't seen Bluey, please watch Bluey. It's so adorable.
I need to watch it.
Or there's one episode called The Creek that I just watched, and it's like, it's about bravery and finding beauty in things.
Aww.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah, Ellery, that's what I said. I'm like, they were just making out, and they have hickeys. It's fine.
Yeah, just leave people alone, Josh. I was trying to find him again, Josh said. Why? Asked Ding. For one thing, I want to know how he keeps disappearing, Josh said. He grinned at Ding. And I know you're curious about those band-aids on Ellie and Mr. Paskey. Okay, minute, Ding said. So where do we look? Ruth Rose collected the paper plates and cups. I can't believe I'm going vampire hunting, she said. If he's staying in town, Josh said, standing up, the first place to check is the Shangri-La Hotel. A few minutes later, the kids were on their way to the hotel. They kept their eyes open, but the man in black is nowhere to be seen. When they walked into the hotel's cool lobby, Mr. Linkletter was talking on the phone. He looked up and nodded as the kids approached the counter. Soon Mr. Linkletter hung up the phone. Hello there, he said. What brings you to the Shangri-La? We saw a stranger in town and wondered if he's staying here, Josh plunged
We're stalking people, mister.
Yeah. Mr. Linkletter raised one eyebrow. And why are you so curious about this one stranger? He asked. Ruth Rose came to Josh's rescue. Because he looks familiar, she said. I've been trying to figure out where I've seen him before. Mr. Linkletter squinted his eyes and pursed his lips. He tapped a long finger against his countertop. Describe this person, please. He's dressed in black, Ding said. Black hair, all slicked back, Josh added, and his skin is real pale. Ah, said Mr. Linkletter. That... Here's the picture. Voila. They are talking to Mr. Linkletter, and he is telling them what they want to know. Even though I have him in a different voice. Could be Dr. Cula. C-U-L-A.
Dr. Cula.
Coca-Cola. He looked at his register. A Cula. A doctor from New York City. Is he in his room right now? Ruth Rose asked. Mr. Linkletter said, it's none of your business. Leave. And they all turned and left. No, just kidding. It's still going. Mr. Linkletter looked down at Ruth Rose. His mustache twitched as if he might smile. You know I can't tell you that, he said. Shangri-La guests pay for privacy, and I make sure they get it. Mr. Linkletter shut the register with a soft thud. Was there anything else? No thanks, Ding said, looking up at Mr. Linkletter. His mouth fell open. 3 inches to the right of Mr. Linkletter's Adam's apple was a small, round band-aid. So he's making out with... Oh, sorry. He's making out with Ellie and Mr. Paskey, too.
Oh, they're a little throuple. Good for them.
Yeah.
This book is so progressive.
They're all having nice, open conversations. Well, not around people, but just like conversations about how they feel, and they're communicating, and everything's healthy and great. And then Avatar Kyoshi came in and was like, children, please stop stalking Dr. Acula. And yeah, that was the end of the chapter.
Dr. Cula.
Cula. Q-U-L-A.
Ruth Rose's mom is a strong, independent woman. She don't need no name. Names are creations of the patriarchal society made to label us.
Well, I mean, I would like for people to distinct. Well, I'd rather people call me Gabe than like Fro, tall guy, 4 eyes.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
Chapter 4. Thanks a lot, Mr. Linkletter. Dink stammered. He hurried Josh and Ruth Rose out of the hotel. Did you see Mr. Linkletter's neck? He whispered when they were on the sidewalk. He had on a Band-Aid, just like Ellie's and Mr. Paskey's. Are you sure? Ruth Rose asked. Dink put a finger on his own neck. It was right here, he said. Now, do you guys believe something weird is going on? Josh croaked. A vampire is stalking Greenlawn. He's drinking everyone's blood. We gotta call 911. Okay. Josh, calm down, Ruth Rose said. There could be a lot of reasons for those 3 Band-Aids. Why do I only yawn when I'm trying to read?
I don't know.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Name one, Josh said. Mr. Linkletter could have cut himself shaving, Ruth Rose suggested. Okay, but Ellie didn't cut herself shaving, did she? You don't know? I don't know. You'd have to ask Ellie, I guess. It's strange that all 3 of them needed Band-Aids all on the same day, Dink put in. Yeah, and the people wearing them are acting strange, Josh said. Mr. Linkletter never gives out the names of his guests, but he did today. Josh squinted his eyes. I'll bet if we looked under those Band-Aids, we'd see fang marks. Ruth Rose grinned. Are you going to go back inside and ask Mr. Linkletter to take off his Band-Aid? No, but we have to find this guy, Josh said. He's already turned Ellie and Mr. Paskey and Mr. Linkletter into vampires. We have to save Greenlawn. Josh, calm down, Dink said. I agree that something weird is going on around here, but I don't think that guy is a vampire. And even if he is, what could we do about it? Run him out of town, Josh said. Calm the fuck down, Josh. Ruth Rose shook her head. Run him out of town? How? Just then a shadow fell over the kids. A voice asked, What do you guys whispering about? The kids jumped and Josh let out a moan. Ah! But it was only their friend Liv. Oh, I was hoping it was the vampire.
Oh.
I wanted to keep doing the fun accent. Livy Nugent. She worked as a maid in the Shangri-La. Hi, Livy, Ruth Rose said. How are Nicole and Ned? Growing like weeds and eating like lion cubs, Livy said. So what's up? Do you know Dr. Cula? Dr. Cula. Dink asked. He's staying in the hotel. Livy nodded. He checked in last night from New York. Wears all black, right? She said, That's him. Josh said, Have you been inside his room? Sure, I have, Livy said. When he checked in, I took him up the elevator. Do you happen to notice anything weird? Josh persisted. Livy shook her head. Not really, she said, starting to enter the hotel. She stopped and turned around. There was one strange thing, Livy said. As soon as we got in the room, Dr. Culia lay down on the bed. He asked me to turn up the air conditioning to extra cold. I did, and asked him if he wanted another blanket. He said no, he'd brought his own. We have a picture. How do these kids know everybody? This must be a really small town.
Interesting.
Livy lowered her voice. When I turned around, he was lying in there with his eyes closed, wrapped in a black cape. Maybe that's his safety blanket. You don't know. 3 kids stared at Livy. She shook her head. Poor guy must have been exhausted, she said. He fell asleep so fast I thought he was dead. Must be nice. Must be nice to just be like out cold.
Exactly. I've never had the hit the pillow, fall asleep immediately effect.
Nope. Livy waggled her fingers goodbye and entered the lobby. Vampires sleep in cold coffins, Josh moaned, and they wear capes, too. Magicians and Salvation Army people also wear capes, Josh. Salvation Army people wear capes?
I didn't know that. I just know we boo them. I don't know.
We boo them?
Or this apparently Salvation Army isn't that. I think they're anti-LGBTQ.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
I was
that doesn't relate, but I'm just like, we don't talk about.
We don't talk about Fight Club. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Salvation Army.
Yep, I feel so bad for Bruno.
Me too. Poor Bruno. Is he okay? That man is living in the walls.
Oh gosh.
Dr. Culia could be a magician, Dink said. That might explain how he escaped from Ellie's diner and the book nook without us seeing him. And band-aids appear on people's necks, Josh asked. I'm going home. He started walking up Main Street. Why? Asked Dink. I thought you wanted to find Dr. Cula. I do, Josh said over his shoulder, but first we need protection. Ruth Rose looked at Dink. They both caught up to Josh. What kind of protection? She asked. Garlic, Josh said. Garlic? Dink and Ruth Rose repeated, staring at Josh. Gabe's face. Vampires hate garlic, Josh said. We have to hang some around our necks. Around our necks, Dink said. Josh, garlic stinks. Josh rolled his eyes. Duh. That's what keeps the vampires away. My theory has always been, definitely not as a vampire that's speaking from experience. I just think vampires made up the lie about the garlic, like them being adverse to it, so that their food would just self-season. Cut out a step.
Or my first thought is it's so they can I'm just imagining someone being like, "Are you a vampire? No. Here, have this garlic bread," and they're just eating it like, "Oh, my stomach kind of hurts. Oh, your stomach hurts from the garlic bread. Here, have some more." And they're just secretly just eating all the garlic bread.
Run, Livy, ignore the creepy stalker children. Waggled her fingers goodbye. So they waggled to say goodbye, or she waggled them straight off her hand? I believe it was one of these. Bye-bye.
And side note, the outfit she wears reminds me of, well, from a distance, it reminds me of the show, the anime called Another, where there was a sister on that who was just like, "Here, let me help you solve the cases for the weird things that are happening. Oh no, an elevator." It's very interesting. I would highly recommend Another because it's actually one of the actual good horror animes, and you get character development, and it's interesting. And so, yeah. Nice. Anyway, and I look at the picture and I'm just like, that's not what I was thinking. But anyway, it was at a distance. My brain does weird things.
You're good. My brain is just like, oh, can we go to sleep now? I'm like, no, vampire stories.
Stalker kid stalking this poor man.
This poor innocent vampire man, allegedly.
Hey, he's just drinking some blood because he has to. A few minutes later, the kids reached Josh's house. Josh marched around the house to the backyard. His twin brothers, Brian and Bradley, were playing with blocks on the picnic table. Under the table, Josh's dog, Pal, was sound asleep. "Where's Mom?" Josh asked the twins. "I'm out here," came a voice in the vegetable garden. Josh ran towards his mother, yelling, "I need some garlic!" Ruth Rose shook her head. "Do you think Josh is serious about this vampire stuff, or is he just fooling around?" she asked Dink. Dink shrugged. "I think he really believes that guy is a vampire," he said. "What do you think?" Ruth Rose asked. "I don't believe in vampires," Dink said. "But what about those Band-Aids?" Dink and Ruth Rose sat at the table with Brian and Bradley. The twins each had a pile of letter blocks and were trying to make words. "What are you spelling?" Dink asked. "Our names, but we don't know how to spell," Bradley said. "I'll help you," Ruth Rose said. "Do you know what letter your name begins with?" "B," both boys yelled. They each picked out a B block. "That's right," Ruth Rose said. She selected the 4 more blocks to spell out Brian. "That spells Brian," she said. She chose some more blocks and spelled Bradley. Josh came and sat down with them. He had an armlet of green stalks with white bulbs on the end. "Ew," cried Brian. "Smelly." "Yuck," yelled Bradley. The 2 boys raced away from the table, holding their noses. "So this is what garlic looks like when it's growing," Dink said, sniffing one of the stalks. Ruth Rose held her nose. "Did you tell your mom why you want the garlic, Josh?" Josh grinned slyly. I didn't tell her about Vampire Man. He said, I just said I needed garlic for an experiment. Good for the mom, supporting your child experiment. Your child, or not your child experience, your child experimenting.
I don't mean to look down on anybody's education, but like, they can't spell. They look like they're 10 years old.
Or
how old are these kids supposed to be?
Or I think the the
little twins.
Yeah, the twins.
Okay, I thought the full-grown like children that are children, but out here like looking for books and stuff are like, I can't spell my own name, and I was just like, what?
No, I guess they're just like 3 or 4 or something.
Brian and Bradley vampire confirmed.
Ruth wrote, experiment. Josh started weaving stalks together. I think I'll pass on the garlic, Dink said. Okay, but don't try to steal mine when the vampire sneaks up on you, Josh said. I wish I could remember where I saw him before today, Ruth Rose said. She spelled out Dr. Cula with blocks. You forgot his first initial. Dink said he pulled up an A block and slid it between the R and the C. Suddenly, Josh dropped his garlic stalks. The block spelled Dracula. Dr. Acula. And you can... Dr. Acula. Cula. Whoa, such shock. Suddenly, Dink and Ruth Rose stared at the word. To Dink, it seemed as if everything froze. Powell stopped his snoring. Now you guys believe me? Josh whispered. Well, okay, Ruth Rose said after a minute. The letters in Dr. Cula's name do spell out Dracula. But that's just a coincidence. Dink let out a breath. He didn't know he'd been holding. I don't know, he said quietly. The band-aids on Mr. Paskey, Ellie, and Mr. Linkletter could be a coincidence, and anyone could own a black cape. But this, Dink ran a finger along the 7 blocks that spelled Dracula. This can't be a coincidence. Ruth Rose sighed. Okay, I guess I agree with that this is all a little spooky, she said, but I still don't think Dr. Cula is a vampire. I don't believe in vampires. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts either, Dink said, but I do believe what I see. I think we should go talk to Officer Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's father. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's go see if he believes in vampires, Ruth Rose said. Wait a second, Josh said. He had finished weaving a loop of garlic stalks. It was too small to slide over his head, so he plopped it on top of his hair like a crown. How do I look? He asked. Like a smelly salad, commented Dink. And this is the picture of Josh and his smelly salad on his head. Oh, and that was the end of the chapter. We need to find a police officer to arrest this vampire. It's fine.
He's new in town. Arrest him.
Oh, gosh. He's been sucking people's blood. Has he?
Where's your proof, sir?
Yeah. How do you know it's not all hickeys?
This poor man, even if he is a vampire, he's just existing, and we know he hasn't hurt anyone seriously because they're alive to be questioned, right? They're alive to be questioned about it. Josh is going to grow up to be a flat earther. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
He's going to be one of those guys that, like, goes on weekend trips to find Bigfoot.
And there's a show about it, and he gets hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They never find Bigfoot, though.
Yeah, but they still get paid.
They always find the one track, and they're like, this is it, guys. And it's like, where's the other tracks? Like, even just a set of tracks would be better than just, like, one footprint. Like, are we thinking Bigfoot's so big that, like, his next footprint is in, like, the next county over? Like,
he's just so tall. His feet are so tall, or his feet are so thin, but he's so tall, or his feet are small, but he's so tall. Just
Yep. All right.
We totally didn't dig this hole earlier, but it's a footprint.
We're almost done with this book.
Yay. I mean, or, yay, we don't get to hear about Josh harassing a poor man.
I can't wait to hear about the zombie. Maybe we should read the zombie one next.
Oh, yes. Josh is going to be like, there's no such thing as zombies. And everyone's going to be like, what?
Josh called Pal and clipped the leash to his collar. Mom, I'm going into town with Dink and Ruth Rose, the two very normal names for my two very normal friends. He called toward the vegetable garden. His mom's face popped up. Okay, but please don't stay long, she said. I need you to watch the twins while I dash to the market later. Are you wearing your garlic to see off Officer Fallon? Ruth Rose asked. Josh grinned. Oops, I forgot. He laid the garlic crown on the picnic table. He broke off one garlic bulb and stuck it in his shirt pocket. No vampire dude is getting me, Josh said. The kids cut through the elementary school grounds to reach the main street. Then they took a right on Oak Street and past People's Pond on their way to the police station. Pal tugged Josh toward the pond. He took a few laps of pond water, scaring a frog. Then the frog plopped into the water and disappeared. They found Officer Fallon washing his cruiser behind the police station. He had removed his shoes. Sorry, not remedied. And socks and rolled up his pant leg. Hey, kids. Hey, pal. The police chief said. He dropped a sponge into a bucket, walked over to a bench, and sat down. Have you come to help me wash my car? The kids sat on the lawn near the bench. Pal crawled under the bench and sighed. If this was a Marvel movie, that officer would be played by Stan Lee.
Oh.
Oh. Miss that man.
Rest in peace.
Your cruiser doesn't look very dirty, Ruth Rose observed. Officer Fallon grinned. It doesn't really need washing, he admitted. I just wanted to come out here and get my feet wet. I just wanted to come out here and waste water, little lady.
Why?
He wiggled his toes in the grass. Say, what's that smell? Officer Fallon looked under the bench. Has Pal been rolling in something? It's garlic, Josh said. He pulled the bulb out of his pocket. Officer Fallon raised his eyebrows. What are you trying to keep vampires away? What are you trying to keep vampires away? Dink nudged Josh's leg with his foot. Tell him, Josh. Josh put the garlic bulb back in his pocket. We saw this creepy-looking guy in town, he said, then began telling the Officer Fallon the story. As he listened to the three kids, Officer Fallon leaned forward with his elbows on his knees. Let me get this straight, he said. This man in black went into Ellie's but didn't come out again, and then you saw him you saw a band-aid on Ellie's neck. The same thing happened when he went into the book nook, Dink said. The guy had vanished, and Mr. Paskey had a band-aid. Sorry, that's going to be really loud. I'm putting my knee right into this. Had a band-aid on his neck. We found out he's staying at the Shangri-La, Josh went on. And guess what? Mr. Linkletter had on a band-aid around his neck, too. The guy we saw signed into the hotel as Dr. A. Cula, Ruth Rose added, and that spells Dracula. Officer Fallon's eyebrows shot up. Well, I'll be darned, he said. That's why we were thinking vampire, Josh continued. Oh, that was Josh, sorry. Officer Fallon let one of his hands fall on Pal's head. He rubs the dog's ears while he thought. I think I saw the same fellow in town, the Officer Fallon said after a minute. He looked familiar somehow. I thought so too, Ruth Rose cried. I could swear I've seen his face before today. Officer Fallon stood up. He emptied his bucket and began hosing off his car. Tell you what, he said. I'll try to find this Dr. Cula and have a talk with him. Will you kids be around? I'll be home, Ruth Rose said. I promised to help my mom clean up the basement. I have to babysit the twins, Josh said. He poked Dink, and Dink is going to help me. I am, said Dink. Officer Fallon, shut off the hose. Okay, I'll let you know when I find out about your vampire, he said, winking up at the kids. Dink and Josh walked to Ruth Rose to her house on Woody Street. Ruth Rose's cat, Tiger, very, very original name for a cat. Sorry, if your cat's name is Tiger, I'm sure it's a lovely cat. Was lying on her front porch. Pal tugged on his leash and whined. Excuse me. If you hear anything from Officer Fallon, let me know, Ruth Rose said, picking up her cat. You too, Josh said. He patted the garlic bulb in his pocket. Sure you don't want to borrow this? No thanks, Ruth Rose said. Tiger here will protect me. She kissed her cat on the nose and opened her front door. Dink, Josh, and Pal headed up Farm Lane. They were at Josh's house a few minutes later, and Josh left Pal off his letters. The boys walked around to the back of the house, to the back of the bones, brain.
The elephant graveyard. Lion King.
And then entered the kitchen. Hi, Mrs. Pinto, Dink said. Hello, Dink. Thanks for coming right back. Joshua, his mom said, grinning, grabbing her car keys. The boys are waiting for you in the barn. They want a ride on a Polly. Cool, Josh said. He and Dirk walked through the garden. Josh pulled up a carrot and wiped the dirt off on his shorts. Inside the barn, Brian and Bradley were brushing Polly the pony. Yay, you're here, Brian yelled. I want to ride Polly first. Not me, me first, cried Bradley. I'm a minute older than you. Josh fed Polly the carrot and rubbed her velvety nose. You can both ride at the same time, he said. But I get to ride in front, Brian said. No, I'm oldest, said Bradley. I get to ride in first. Josh looked at Dink. Help me, he begged. Alright, I'm going to get a snack from downstairs real quick. Do you want anything?
I'm okay. Thank you. You get a snack and I'm like, I'm done. And everyone's like, no, he's not. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen. Sorry, I also just kind of need to stretch because I'm like, my body's just like, yes, vampires. I feel very calm, I guess. I don't know why.
Vampires have a calming aura to lull you into false insecurity before drinking your blood.
They're my people, I guess. I'm just like, ooh, home.
Individuals who are similar to me. I'm sure they have great personalities.
Alright, talk to chat for a second. I'll be back.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Tell them about America's Next Top Model or something.
Okay, so on Cycle 4 of America's Next Top Model. Sorry. Okay. So yes, on Cycle 4 of America's Next Top Model, we have some of the most dramatic moments in the franchise's history, including when Rebecca passed out during panel, and apparently her hair she got during makeover saved her when she fell. We have of course, the race swapping photo shoot, which was very, very problematic, but wasn't the first time that's happened, because on Cycle 2 of America's Next Top Model, we got one of the models being painted darker to look like Grace Jones, and that was problematic. And then also in Cycle 4, we have, of course, the infamous "We Were Rooting for You" scene. And then there's also the moment where Kaylin has to go into a grave after her friend unfortunately passes away. And then we have Kenya, who was called fat and and had that guy be incredibly inappropriate to her during that photo shoot. Yay! Thank you.
Did I even make sense reading that last chapter? I felt like I was falling asleep during that during reading and just being like,
Yes, at least to me, but I was also kind of just like,
yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat at all. Do you not know Bigfoot teleports every time? Oh.
Dink is short for Donald something, but, you know.
It's like Donald something Duncan.
Yeah.
What kind of name? I remember Dink the dinosaur from my youth, and it was like a cartoon dinosaur and his dinosaur friends. It was like Land Before Time, but more kidsy. I say that, but yeah, in the first Land Before Time, that was rough. Or that was sad. T-Rex attack, and it was all Sarah's fault. She woke up the T-Rex, and it tried to get her, and then she was with Littlefoot and his mom, and it was just so sad. Now I'm sad. I'm just kidding. Chapter 7. How about I flip a coin, Dink asked. He pulled a quarter from his pocket. Winner gets to choose who rides in the front. I'll take heads, Brian said. So you can have tails, Dink told Bradley. He flipped the coin in the air and caught it. It's tails. Good, I ride in front, Bradley said. I get to steer. Riding in back is good too, Dink said to Brian. You get to enjoy the ride and you don't have to do any work. Thanks, Dink, Josh said. He led Polly to an upside-down wooden box. Bradley climbed to the box. Then Josh boosted him onto Polly's bare back. Dink helped Brian up behind his twin brother. Hold on to Bradley, Dink said. Let's run fast, Bradley yelled. We're not running, Josh said. We'll take a nice walk down to the river and back. Don't fall off, you monkeys. We're not monkeys, yelled Brian. We're cowboys. Holding Polly's lead, Josh walked her into the meadow behind the barn. Dink walked next to the pony, making sure the boys didn't lose their seats. Polly clopped along, dipping her head to munch on the tops of weeds. Soon they crossed River Road and stopped on a grassy bank of the Indian River. I was just like, oh wait, it's not. Is it problematic to say that, or I mean, it's
probably, but the book is saying it, not you.
Okay.
Not cool book. We don't think.
Sorry. Can we go swimming? Bradley asked as Polly dipped her muzzle into the water. No, we're going back home as soon as Polly gets her drink, Josh said. He and Dink sat on the grass and watched Polly drink. I wonder if Officer Fallon found out anything about Dr. Kula, Josh said, keeping his voice low so the twins couldn't hear. The boys sat and thought about the strange man in black. I've been thinking about those Band-Aids, Dink thought. What about them? Josh said. They were all the same, Dink replied. Why would 3 different people all have the same kind of round Band-Aid on their neck? That is weird, Josh said after a minute. You'd think one person might choose a round one, but someone else would choose a regular stripe, right? Right. And here's the picture of Polly drinking, and then the twins on the back, and then Josh and Dink conversing. He has his feet in the mud. How gross. We're thirsty, Bradley yelled from Polly's back. Josh stood up and gently pulled Polly's head away from the water. Let's go home, girl, he said. Soon they were back at the barn. Dink helped Brian and Bradley off Polly's back, and the twins raced across the yard towards the house. Let's go call Ruth Rose and see if she heard from Officer Fallon, Josh said as he let Polly into the corral. Dink and Josh walked across the yard to the kitchen door. The twins were standing in front of the open refrigerator fighting over a carton of apple juice. Freeze! Josh yelled, everybody clap your hands.
Bum, 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 bum.
The boys turned to look at him. Okay, now please hand me the juice. Wash your hands and sit, Josh said. The twins did as they were told, and Josh poured 4 glasses of juice. He got a box of cookies from the shelf and gave each boy one. Josh and Dink took their snacks over to the telephone on the hall table. The light on the answering machine was blinking. Maybe it's a message from Officer Fallon, Josh said. He hit the play button, but instead of the police chief's voice, they heard Ruth Rose. She said, guys, I figured it out. Meet me at the Shangri-La. Josh looked at Dink. Figured out what? He said. Maybe she figured out who your mystery man is, Dink said. Remember she thought he looked familiar? So why did she go to the hotel without us? Josh asked. She didn't know we'd be going to the river, Dink said. Well, let's go meet her, Josh said, heading for the kitchen before the vampire gets her. Dink shook his head. We can't leave your brothers alone. The twins had finished their juice and cookies. Josh looked out the window over the sink. Come on, Mom, he said. Can we go out and play? Bradley asked. After you put your glasses in the sink, Josh told the twins. Just then, Josh's mom pulled into the backyard and parked the car. Josh waved to her as Brian and Bradley shot out of the back door. What did you bring us? They yelled to their mother. Come on, out the front, Josh whispered to Dink. He and Dink left the front door and headed for Main Street. They cut through the high school grounds, then waved to Howard in the barber shop when they reached Main. As they passed the book nook, Dink noticed that the shade was pulled down. A closed sign was stuck in the window. Huh? Josh said, nodding towards the sign. Mr. Paskey never closes in the middle of the afternoon. Dink remembered that little round band-aid on Mr. Paskey's neck. Then he shook his head. No, he thought, there are no vampires in Green Lawn. Here's the book note with the curtains down, or the blinds drawn and all that jazz. Chapter 8.
Woo.
Thanks for the snack.
You're welcome. Okay. Let's see. Chapter 8. A few minutes later, Dink and Josh walked into the lobby of the Shangri-La Hotel. Mr. Linkletter was standing behind the counter, staring at the door. Hi, Mr. Linkletter, Josh said. Ruth Rose said to meet her here. Have you seen her? Mr. Linkletter nodded. Yes, I saw her about 20 minutes ago with Dr. Cula. Dink's eyes went to the little round band-aid on Mr. Linkletter's neck. Do you know where they went? He asked. No, I didn't notice, Mr. Linkletter said. They sat and talked here in the lobby. When I looked up again, they had disappeared. Dink remembered how the mysterious man in black disappeared from Ellie's diner. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Okay. And the book nook. Of course, Mr. Linkletter went on. Dr. Cula could be up in his room. He likes to nap during the day. Josh snuck a glance at Dink. Can you tell us which room he has? Josh asked. That would be room 202, he said. Feel free to go up and check. Dink grabbed Josh by the arm and tugged him toward the elevators. Dink pushed the up button, and then the boys waited. Seconds later, one of the two elevators arrived with a ping. Dink and Josh stepped inside. Did you see that? Dink asked. Mr. Linkletter didn't even check his register. How did he know which room Dr. Cula had? Yeah, he never gives out room numbers, Josh said. He always says guests at the Shangri-La pay for privacy. And did you notice how nervous he looked? Dink said. Josh nodded. His mustache was practically doing a dance on his lip. The elevator pinged again, and the doors slid open. Dink and Josh stepped into the long corridor and stood listening. No one was in the hallway, and it was very quiet. The small wall lights cast a dim glow on the carpet. This is creeping me out, Josh whispered. What if that guy is in the room just waiting for us? Right now, we have to find Ruth Rose, Dink said. He pointed to room 202. Let's go. They tiptoed towards the door. Dink got ready to knock, then noticed that the door was already partly open. He raised his eyebrows at Josh, who was staring back at him. Dink pushed the door open a few more inches. Dr. Cula, he asked through the crack. Anyone here? No answer came. Josh nudged the door fully open with the toe of his sneaker. There was no one in the room. The boys saw a TV set and a desk, an armchair, and night tables with lamps on both sides of a neatly made bed. It looks like no one is staying here, Dink said. Mr. Linkletter did say room 202, right? Josh nodded. The boys tiptoed into the room for a better look. Dink felt goosebumps marching up his arms and legs. Then he noticed a loud hum. The air conditioner is blasting, he said to Josh with a shiver. It's freezing, Josh answered as he walked across the room and stopped at the closet door. He looked at Dink. Shouldn't I open it? Dink nodded. Josh pulled the closet door open, then gasped. What? Dink said, hurrying over for a look. On the floor sat a black leather suitcase. Hanging above the suitcase on a hanger was a long black cape. He disappeared again, Josh whispered. Let's get out of here, Dink said. Maybe she went back home, Josh suggested. Maybe, Dink said as they walked toward the door. Again, the wall to the right of the door was a small table they hadn't noticed when they entered the room. On it was a sheet of paper, a box of Band-Aids, on top of the paper. Dink picked up the Band-Aid box. The little round kind, he said, reading the words on the box. I know it didn't say the little round kind on the box. Dink. The little round kind. Oh my gosh, Josh said, pointing to some writing on the paper. Dink picked up the paper. It's a list of names. He read the list out loud. Ellie Landoff, Ernest Paskey, Lionel Linkletter, Ruth Rose Hathaway, Dink Duncan. His name is Dink Duncan.
Dink Duncan.
America Dinks on Duncan is all my brain thought because of that scrambled mess of a name. You know, the American runs on Duncan?
Yes.
Yeah.
America runs on Duncan. Please sponsor us.
Joshua Pinto. The names were written in purple. The first 3 names had purple check marks next to them. The vampire checked off the names of the people he bit on the neck. Josh wailed. And our names are next. I'm gonna be sick. I think I'm gonna be sick. Dink studied the list. He was especially interested in the purple writing. Where had he seen that color before? Then Dink remembered. He brought the paper up to his nose to take a deep sniff. He smelled. What do you smell? Josh asked. Dink grinned at his friend. Jelly beans, he said. That's you.
Me. Jelly beans.
Pretty sure giving someone room number is like 6 shades of illegal. Oh yeah. I'm still caught up on the fact that the kid's name is Dink Duncan.
Dink Duncan. Jelly beans? What are you talking about? Josh asked. I think Ruth Rose wrote this list, Dink said, and she used Nate's party purple crayon. Oh yeah, now I remember, Josh said. But why would she make the list? I don't know, Dink said. And why did Mr. Linkletter let us come up here without giving us a hard time? Why was the door left partly open? Unless Mr. Linkletter and this vampire guy are trying to pull something, Josh said. Suddenly, Josh grabbed Dink's arm. Maybe Dr. Keela captured Ruth Rose and forced her to write this list. I suppose that could have happened, Dink said. He picked up the Band-Aid box and emptied it onto the table. Each Band-Aid was wrapped in thin paper, but Dink could see the round shapes through the paper. You know what I think? Dink said. No, Josh said, and they walked out of the room.
Never to be seen again.
The rest of the books are just about different main characters. Josh shook his head.
They're already on V. They only got a couple more left.
Exactly. They can be like, oh, I'm going to do other things. It's fine. Josh shook his head. I can't think at all, he said. My brain feels fried. I think these Band-Aids belong to Dr. Keela, Dink said. And I think he gave one to Ellie. Then he gave Mr. Paskey and Mr. Linkletter theirs too. After he bit their necks? Asked Josh. I don't think he bit anybody, Dink said. Then why would he give them Band-Aids? Good question, Dink said. He set the box on top of the purple list. And I think we'll get the answer when we find Ruth Rose. Josh scratched his head. But that doesn't make any sense, he said. How could Ruth Rose know anything? She's just as confused as we are on what's going on. Dink shook his head. No, her phone message said she figured it out. He said, she's like Hermione. So where is she? Josh asked. And where's the guy who checked into this room, whoever he is? Well, they're not here, Dink said, glancing around the room. Let's see if we can find any more information from Mr. Linkletter. Just as the boys stepped through the door, they heard the ping of the elevator. Dink yanked Josh back into the room. He shut the door, then bolted towards the closet. The two boys jumped into the closet and pulled the door closed. Inside the dark closet, Dink hid behind the cape, tugging Josh with him. With their backs to the wall, they listened. Next to him, Dink felt Josh shaking. Dink could hardly hear anything rather than his own racing heartbeat. Then he heard a door open and close. Feet whisked across the carpet. Something creaked in a chair or the bed. Then only silence. They're not here, Dink heard a voice whisper. Unless they're hiding in the closet, a different voice responded. Dink tried to push through the wall behind him. He tried to shrink. He closed his eyes and willed himself to become invisible. Nothing worked. Suddenly, the door was yanked open. Come out, you two, said a familiar voice. Dink opened his eyes and peeked from behind the vampire's cape. Ruth Rose was standing in the open closet doorway with a big grin on her face. And here's the picture of that.
Woo.
We're in a kite, Ruth Rose. What do we do? You've been mind controlled. Oh, and that's the end of the chapter.
Oh. Wow, the chapters are too long. I don't know what to do with these long chapters.
I know. Oh, I'm exhausted reading them. They could just have Ruth Rose be the sole main character. It's fine. Better than a protagonist called Dink Duncan.
Oh, yeah, no.
Or Flat Earther like Josh.
Dink Duncan really, really does need to be an illegal name for a child. Don't name your kid Dink Duncan.
It's not allowed. There are rules.
Chapter 10. Ruth Rose backed up as Dink and Josh stepped out of the closet. Behind her, 5 other people were in the room. Ellie was leaning against the wall, wearing her uniform and apron. Mr. Paskey and Mr. Linkletter were sitting on the edge of the bed. Officer Fallon was sitting on the big chair in the corner. The 5th person was Dr. A. Kula, dressed all in black. He was taken off his dark glasses and was sitting on the floor leaning against the desk. Everyone was smiling as Dink and Josh watched their faces. What's going on? Josh asked. The man in black stood up and stuck out his hand. I'm Jimmy Jet, he said. Hi, Dink. Hi, Josh. Confused, Dink said, and Josh shook the man's hand. He's an actor, not a vampire, Ruth Rose said. She held up a magazine. Still got the nocturnal thing going down, though. A lot of night shoots.
Oh, gosh. I can't imagine doing multiple night shoots in a row.
I have.
I think the most I've ever done is 2 in a row.
I think I've done 5 in a row, like a whole week.
Oh, and that was Goosebumps, maybe?
No, what was that? It was Stranger Things. Oh, and it was also Hill House. We did a few overnights in a row, and then also what am I trying to say? The Outsider. That also had multiple night shoots, like, in a row. Because the whole thing took place at a carnival.
Oh, yeah. Oh, carnival scenes.
Were you there for those?
For The Outsider, no. I was there for other carnival scenes.
Oh, yeah. So many.
It was great when you have to take off your glasses and have terrible vision and wear, like, a jean... or like a denim vest with a shirt and denim shorts that go above your knee. Like
it's so great.
And it's super chilly at night.
Oh, it's so great. We love it so much.
I mean, I would be fine if I'd be able to see, but nope, I was cold and blind. But I like the cold, but still, it was kind of like...
Hello, perfectly normal man.
Hello. He's not a vampire. What?
She held up a magazine. It showed a picture of Jimmy Jet wearing the same black clothes. The caption read, Jimmy Jet jumps at chance to play Dracula. I have a new movie coming out, Jimmy Jet said. I played Dracula. Remember, I said he looked familiar? Ruth Rose asked. I saw this when we were helping my mom with the old newspapers. I totally forgot until I saw Jimmy on TV when I went home after we talked to Officer Fallon. Dink had 100 questions, but he didn't know which one to ask first. And everybody's like, haha, yes, we did fool these children.
Oh, for a second I thought it was the next chapter, and I was like, huh? Oh.
The chapter is literally just this. I mean, we've had chapters like that in Goosebumps, so it wouldn't be impossible. He did ask, can we sit down? I don't know about Josh, but my legs feel all wobbly. Mr. Linkletter made room on the bed. Sit here, he said. After Dink and Josh were comfortable, Officer Fallon took over from Ruth Rose. When you kids left me, I came over here to meet this mysterious man in black, he said. He waved at Jimmy Jet, who grinned. I found he and Mr. Linkletter together, chatting like old friends. When I learned that your vampire was an actor from New York, Jimmy made a little bow. I'm sorry if I scared you kids, he said. I was on my way to Vermont for a little vacation. Green Lawn looked like a nice place to stop, so I did. Went into the supermarket to buy a few things. When I saw you following me, I decided to have some fun. Good for you. Teach it to those kids. You knew we were following you, Dink asked. Jimmy grinned. Oh, yes. I thought you recognized me and that you knew about my new Dracula movie. But we didn't know, Josh said. I thought you were a real vampire biting people's necks. We saw the Band-Aids. Jimmy nodded. I always pack a Band-Aid when I travel in case I nick myself shaving, he said. While I spotted you following me, I got an idea. That's why I went into Ellie's diner. Jimmy looked at Ellie. You want to take over? He asked. Ellie smiled. There, I was polishing my glass case, she said. I looked up, and Jimmy Jet was standing in my diner, and I recognized him right away and asked for his autograph. Instead, I handed her a Band-Aid, Jimmy said, cutting it into... Did you not give her the autograph?
Oh my god.
Jimmy!
Well, he was being stalked by 3 nosy kids, so...
Fair.
It's their fault she didn't get an autograph.
Cutting into Ellie's story, I told her 3 kids were following me, and I wanted to play a prank about being a vampire. Ellie laughed. I let Jimmy leave through the back of the diner, and I stuck on the Band-Aid just as you guys walked in. The same thing happened to you, right, Mr. Paskey? Dink said. Everyone looked at Mr. Paskey. That's right, Dink. He said. Jimmy came in, explained who he was, and handed me a Band-Aid to put on my neck. He left through my back door just as you kids came through the front. Josh laughed. Boy, we were fooled, he said to Jimmy. What about that book, Vampires Among Us? Dirk asked. I thought I would be a little nice touch. Mr. Paskey said. I lent the book to Jimmy, making it look as if he had taken it off my shelf and left the money for it. You guys are awesome, Josh said, and Jimmy made a little bow. The last step was when I got back to my hotel. We have a very dubious-looking Mr. Linkletter.
Oh.
He's like, hello, I am Mr. Linkletter. I am here to prank children. You know? He's just like, it's this... He's got a very tiny pencil mustache. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. I'm
Yeah,
just
man.
making an observation. He said, Mr. Linkletter already knew who I was. I had signed in as Dr. Acula because I used that name in the movie. Dink looked at Ruth Rose. What about that list? He asked. And Nate's purple crayon. Ruth Rose laughed. When I finally figured out who Dr. Cula really was, I came right here to the hotel, she said. I had Nate's crayon in my pocket. And she forced me to tell all. And the actor said, with a good humor, I asked her if she'd like to help me with my prank. That's what I made the phone call to get you here, Ruth Rose said. I wrote the list of names to scare you into thinking we were next. And it worked, Josh said. So you were all in it together, Dink said, looking at Officer Fallon. Even you. Only at the very end, Officer Fallon said. After Ruth Rose left a message on Josh's machine, I got Ellie and Mr. Pansky to join us here. Mr. Linkletter hid us all in his office until you'd gone up in the elevator. A small smile appeared under Mr. Linkletter's mustache. Will you boys forgive me? He asked. No.
No, I will never forgive you. You are.
This
so
man is
mean.
precious. I love him. Aww.
They're in New York. Oh, I love it. They got to stalk an actor and they get to go to a movie premiere. Rude. She'd been like, leave me alone. Your restraining order. The long black limo pulled up in front of the theater in New York City. The driver came around and opened the passenger door. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose stepped out onto the sidewalk. Please wait here for your escort, the driver told the kids. I'll be back after the movie to pick you up. The kids thanked the driver and watched him pull the long limo back into traffic. This is so cool, Josh said. All around him, people were streaming into the theater. Over their heads, a large marquee announced the name of the movie, Dracula's Daughter. That sounds like Hotel Transylvania, because Dracula's daughter is there. And he's like, no, you can't go into the outside world because I love you.
I love you.
I love you, my daughter. I'm Adam Sandler, blah, blah, blah.
Those movies are cute.
It was nice of Jimmy to invite us, Ruth Rose said, and feed us, Josh said, patting his stomach. I've never had a picnic in a limo before. Maybe this is our escort, Dink said, as a woman in a red uniform approached them. Are you Mr. Jet's friends from Connecticut? She asked. Yes, said Ruth Rose. Great, then follow me, the woman said. She led them into the theater, then to a bank of elevators. You'll be sitting in a special viewing box, the woman said as their elevator rose. The elevator stopped, and the kids followed the escort down a quiet, carpeted hallway to a small door. Right in here, she said, and pushed the door open. The kids walked into a small room with 4 seats. From here, the kids could see the screen and the rest of the audience. Enjoy the movie, the woman said. She closed the door and then left them alone in the box seats. The kids sat in the comfortable seats and looked around. On both sides, velvet drapes separated them from people in other boxes. I just can't believe we're actually here, Josh whispered in awe. We wouldn't be if you hadn't seen Jimmy Jet in the supermarket, Ruth Rose said. Admit it, Dink said to Josh with a grin. Did you really think it was a vampire? Before Josh could answer, the theater lights dimmed. Down below, the audience became quiet. The curtain in front of the screen slowly parted and creepy music began to play. Behind the kids, the small door opened again. A man in a black cape entered the box. He sat down in the 4th seat, which happened to be next to Josh. Josh turned. Is that you, Jimmy? He asked. The man smiled, revealing long white fangs. Dink gasped, and Ruth Rose giggled. The man took out his fake fangs. Yeah, it's me, Jimmy Jet said. I brought these for you. He reached into his pocket and pulled out 3 sets of vampire fangs. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose slipped the fangs into their mouths just as the movie started. The end.
I was just gonna say, do you think wait, now I just lost my train of thought. ADHD and also tired. But what was I gonna say about this?
Or to answer your question, do I think? No.
Oh, I thought he was gonna try to give them the teeth that he was wearing and just be like, here you go, kids.
That's what I thought at first too, but it's like 3 sets of teeth that I was like, oh, thank
Thank
goodness.
God. Oh God.
Protect Jimmy at all costs.
Jimmy is good. We like Jimmy. The moral of the story is be like Jimmy.
Be a good guy. But if children are stalking me at the supermarket when I'm famous, I would just be like, please get away from me.
Yep. Yep, that was something.
That was the Vampire's Vacation.
Yeah. So I've been informed that dinner is ready downstairs early.
Already? Oh,
It
okay.
is, well, lunch, dinner.
Linner.
So we can go down and eat whenever. I had planned to read a second book, but I'm like falling asleep.
Oh no.
I'm so tired.
We could just chat a little bit about America's Next Top Model.
Yeah,
or
let's do it.
MILF Manor.
Yeah, let's do it. Have you seen any of MILF Manor except for, like, how much did you say you've seen?
I saw the first episode, but I also saw someone recapping a few of the other episodes. Basically, in like the second episode, one of the moms is like, "Oh, by the way, your best friend, yeah." And the son is just like, "Mom, my friend?" She's just like, "Ha ha ha, I'm so quirky." And he's just like, yeah. But then but before he was like, "Toes." But now he's just like, drama.
His storyline changed from the guy that was like, "Oh, toes," and now he's the guy that's like, "Oh no, Mom."
Why? And then there's this one, the oldest son there is like 28, and all the moms love him because he's like the closest to age with them. And then there's like a 20-year-old who's just like, "Ew, Mom, stay away from everybody. That's gross. Don't bring him to the room. What's wrong with you?" But I feel like that's a perfectly reasonable reason to be like, "Mother, stop
it."
Can't relate to any of the situation that's going on.
I'm glad, honestly.
Yep. So I'm just like, I believe the show originally was on TLC, and I'm just like, that
Tracks.
Yeah. They also have Dr. Pimple Popper on TLC, and I'm just like, you know what? They're probably like, let's get obscure stuff and throw it on TLC.
I love me a good episode of Dr. Pimple Popper. It's just like a train wreck you can't look away from.
Oh gosh, it's like, oh, look at this pimple, and
squish it.
I remember looking on Snapchat, and like, I think I looked at like one video of that kind of stuff, and now it's like dermatology stuff, skincare. Look at these toenails, and I'm just like, oh my god, why can't it just be anime?
Why can't it just be anime?
Oh, it was funny at the swim meet. I think I was, or someone said Demon Bug, and I was like, did someone say Demon Slayer? Yeah, hua hua. Tanjiro defeating all the bugs, yeah, with a sword. And then one of the swimmers was like, "Do you watch anime?" And I'm like, "Yes, I love anime."
Do I?
And he's like, "What anime do you watch?" And I'm like, "Black Clover and something else I can't remember." And I'm like, "Or Demon Slayer." And, yeah, I just said that. Demon Slayer and some other things. And I'm like, "Oh, what do you?" Or he's like, "Oh, I don't watch those." And I'm like, "Oh, what do you watch?" And he's like, "Boku no Hero Academia." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love that." I haven't seen season 6 though because the Hulu subscription ran out, and I'm just like, well, I have no way of watching anime anymore unless it's on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, but there's no anime on Disney Plus, unfortunately. But yeah, so I'm like, yay. And I was so sad because I was starting to watch That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, and it's good.
Wait, what?
There's
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's literally called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. It's an isekai. It's really interesting because there's now, I don't know what to call, but there's like an archetype where like a truck is what gets someone transported to another world because they get hit by a truck and they pass away and get reincarnated into another world and all that.
Okay.
And now everyone's like, Truck-kun. Oh, watch out for Truck-kun. You're going to be isekai. But unfortunately, in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the guy gets like,
ooh.
There's a guy and he has a knife and he's running towards the guy's coworker, and the guy's like, no, and then shink, and then he's like, destroy my browsing history.
Oh.
And it's really funny because at the end of the episode, the guy takes all of his computer stuff and puts it in a bath and is like, thank you so much for saving me. I've completed your last task for me.
Huh.
And then the guy's just a slime, and he's going around and he meets a tsundere dragon.
Jet says just sword.
Just sword?
All it says is sword.
I wonder if he's referring to the anime where the person gets reincarnated as a sword.
Of course that's an anime.
Yeah. I remember seeing a commercial for an anime where it was just no context, and it shows a girl, I think she's on a bike, or she's not on a bike, but she goes to a gas station and just takes the nozzle and starts drinking it and then transforms into a car. And I'm like, That's not the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So
No.
that's fine. I mean, I've seen Neon Genesis Evangelion. I've seen a lot of weird things.
I've done this for 3 years on YouTube. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. Again, remember Model Land?
Oh, and you've seen Sailor Moon, so that has some weird stuff in it, I
It
think.
does. I like Sailor Moon, though.
I'm trying to think of like some of the weird. Oh gosh.
As far as anime standards go, Sailor Moon is kind of tame as far as just like magical girl running around doing things. The cat talks.
Oh gosh, I remember. I'm just like, what's the weirdest thing that I've seen? And my first thought was this anime called Blood Sea.
Okay.
And oh gosh, the Chimera. If anyone, or if you look up like top 10 like most brutal deaths in anime, the Chimera from Blood Sea is on there, and then the bunnies. Oh god, the bunnies.
The bunnies.
It's basically these like monstrous bunnies like taking out an entire town,
Like Banuncula?
except for worse.
Ooh.
It's like gory and disgusting and gross and traumatizing. And I only saw like a brief clip of it, but I was still just like, oh, the bunnies. Oh, and then there's also that scene in the anime called Elfen Lied where the main character has pink hair and has horns, and everyone's like, you're weird. And then she befriends a puppy, and they're like, hi, puppy.
Ooh.
And then she's like, you're the monsters. And I was just like, you know what? Good for her. I'm just kidding. I don't condone violence, but
Violence is sometimes the answer when it comes with puppy. When it comes with don't hurt the puppy.
exactly. I'm sure a lot of individuals are like, what is he talking about? And I'm like, believe me, if you get me on a rant about America's Next Top Model, RuPaul's Drag Race, or anime, I just go.
Now I just want to watch MILF Manor. I just have questions.
I we should watch MILF Manor. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I've seen some weird crap on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the internet is such an interesting. I remember that video from youth where it's like, I don't want to say the name, but I'm gonna. Should I say it? I don't know.
What is it?
Or it's. Do you remember? Two Girls, One Cup.
Yo, yeah.
Remember in Unis Honest, they're like, oh, they did like a Where Are They Now thing, and I think everyone's doing fine, and they're like, good for them.
Well, they also. Let me see if I can find this, because it's one of my favorite Markiplier moments ever, is when he's like, wait, you haven't seen Two Girls, One Cup? And they don't show it. They just show him watching it. And it's so, like, his reaction is gold. It's so beautiful. Hang on.
I mean, I didn't know what it was, but then for some reason in my mind, I'm like, it's this. And I'm like, how did I know that? But I've luckily never watched it, and I'm so glad I never have.
That's us. Hey, that's
Yay.
us. Unis Honest.
Oh gosh, I'm looking at people making out. The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, yep. Bold and beautiful.
Sorry, I'm just making out.
Oh, trust me. So, chat can probably tell you about the sinkhole people. Have I told you about the sinkhole people?
I feel like you have, but my memory is terrible.
So
Mark punches wall.
Oh, you didn't see that one?
Oh, like, or was that when he was pretending to be a D-bag and when Ethan was asking dumb questions?
When Ethan was going 10 mile mark, and he said later on, he's like, I actually got mad at him, and just like, in a split second, he hit the wall just out of frustration, and then they had to like stop it and be like, I'm very sorry. But when they come back, he's got like his whole hand just like haphazardly bandaged because he actually broke his hand.
Oh no.
Yeah. He's like, I'm sorry, that was me.
Oh gosh.
Let me see if I can.
I'm gonna cover my eyes just in case it's like, here's the thumbnail for the video.
Oh no, they don't. It's literally just show. I'll show. It's literally just. Why can't I hear anything? Please, I'm begging you. Please, God. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? People are watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
From all the way back in the day?
Huh. Interesting. Maybe we should watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh gosh. I would feel so dumb. I would get out after the first question. Unless it's about anime. But then they'd be like, it's just like, what is the plot of the first episode of Inuyasha? And I'd be like, I'm out. I can't. I don't know the plot.
Aw.
Because I never really watched the big three anime that were like Inuyasha, Bleach, and Naruto. Or was it One Piece? I think it was like One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto. But I never watched any of those four. But I watched like Pokemon and Digimon, and then I saw Attack on Titan, and my whole world exploded.
The whole world.
Oh god. Oh, Attack on Titan. I wasted over a decade of my life on that show, and I hated the ending. But I'm sure I believe that's what the creator wanted.
Sinkhole just means cheating on your husband now. Yeah, there are these two characters that fell into a sinkhole together, and they were there for, like, canonically, I think, a day or two. And they had sex in the sinkhole. And so then they started having an affair. And
Scandival.
And then it gets worse. Because then the affair continues. And then they're having sex in a treehouse, I guess, to, like, balance it out. And the husband comes back early from a business trip, and he starts climbing up the treehouse to be like, "Hey, honey, are you up in the treehouse for some reason? Don't know what you could be doing up there." And he falls because he's an older guy. Falls, and he gets, like, majorly, like, injured, and he's, like, paralyzed after that. Yeah.
Oh no! Why?
We don't know. But an episode just starts with "Cow, please," and he's just like in the hospital. We're like, "Oh my gosh!"
And let me guess, this too still continued the affair, or is she just like, "No, this is my punishment for finding some other handsome man"?
She promised God that she'd give up the affair if he lived. So
she's still having the affair. Still, probably.
I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Yep. Oh gosh.
I think we do have a copy of Wicked. We can definitely look into reading Wicked.
Yes.
And just skip over the parts that make Gabe super uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, I just don't want to read it like on live
because
I don't want someone to clip it and be like, "Look at him reading some inappropriate stuff."
That's fine. I'll either read it or we'll just skip it.
And he'll be like, "Oh, this scene."
We'll be like, probably what'll happen is probably it'll just be like, it'll be like the Justin Bieber thing, and I was like, and then other stuff happened. You're like, is it still going? Yes, it is.
Oh
God!
Just the Markiplier reaction.
Oh, this is the Markiplier reaction of all reactions. I know I have to show you this real quick. This has nothing to do with what we planned on doing, but here you go. Here's this. Why is this so quiet? Oh, that's in my headphones still. Why is that in my headphones still?
Who are they? What are they? How are they?
Speakers. Oh, that'd be why. That's why. It didn't change here, which it should have, but it didn't.
I'm sure there's some people.
Hey, here!
Sorry, that was very loud.
So,
oh my god, well, we have to watch Two Girls, One Cup!
They don't show it, guys.
Yeah.
They don't show anything. All you see is Markiplier.
I remember on Family Guy.
Please don't Google it.
Yeah, don't Google it. I remember Brian showed Stewie on Family Guy, and Stewie's like, "Ah!"
Do Two Girls, One Cup. Where are they now? If you've never seen Two Girls, One Cup,
I don't want to.
Well,
That's
Mark, you've gotta. Sorry.
Everything is censored.
Let's watch it. Click on play button. Yes, this is it.
Also,
This,
so someone tried to show me this in youth group back in the day.
Of course, it was youth group.
It was youth group. Watch Markiplier.
Oh.
You have to watch. You have to watch. Have you not seen? It's so gross.
He's like contorting.
It gets worse.
It's so fucking gross. Oh my god.
And it's still on YouTube.
I don't think so. But it's online. You can find. Don't look for it.
Don't look for
Please,
it.
God, don't look for it.
Oh my god. No.
He runs into the closet. He's just. He's just done.
It's been a while.
He's
since
just
I've
yelling
seen
from the
that.
closet.
It's
Like-
really bad. I could have gone my whole life.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite. How is it? No,
Oh.
I don't need more reactions to the. I just wanted to see that one. I love Markiplier and Eve.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen Mark.
Mark died that day. Yes, he did. He sure did.
I haven't seen any of their videos recently. Side note, one of my favorite set of reaction videos to watch was people reacting to the red wedding, and it's like, oh, my friends don't know what's about to happen at the red wedding. Let's look at the reactions, and it's a bunch of, it's basically repeated over like the wife getting, you know, and everyone being like, and I'm just-
Because both the wives got.
yeah. Oh gosh, and then there was this whole conspiracy. Well, this is kind of where there was like this conspiracy because Lena Headey, who plays Cersei, made or put rocks in a heart formation, and people are like, oh, this character is gonna show up, but they never showed up for the rest of the series, and people are like, you lied to us, and she's like, guys, I was just making a heart with stones. I don't know what you want from me, and I'm just. So now, knowing the context of that, I'm just like, oh, gasp, what's going on? But I'm not going to say because some people might want to read the books and haven't seen the show. Or if they have seen the show, they don't know what I'm talking about. But if you read the books, you do.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say not all characters that die in the show die in the books and vice versa.
Or this relates to a character that gets got and comes back.
Okay.
Mark. And I like that phrasing, get got.
Get got. Ellery says, "Oh yeah, also the husband that out of the treehouse, he canonically flatlined as she was like praying to God, like please, please don't let him die."
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Oh gosh.
yeah, it was a lot.
That was soap operas.
Oh, and then the guy that she's cheating with, his brother,
is his twin.
no, his brother is his twin. No. His brother has a little thing going on because he has a long-term girlfriend that he really likes, but the girlfriend has a stepsister. And he slept with the stepsister one time, and the stepsister is now pregnant. Soap operas are wild.
Well, that just reminds me of in Legally Blonde. Hey, Elle, do you remember what happened on Days of Our Lives yesterday? Why, yes, Margot, I do. Something, someone forgot, and the evil Stefano. I don't know, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
Oh. So wait, the two people are having an affair. The husband flatlined, but he came back, and then the guy has a brother who had an affair with the brother's girlfriend, and the girlfriend has a stepsister who he got pregnant. The brother got pregnant.
So there's two brothers. One of them is having sex in a sinkhole and in a treehouse, and then the husband of the girl he's having sex with is the one that flatlined.
Okay.
His brother has a girlfriend, but that girlfriend has a stepsister who he got pregnant.
Oh, so they're both cheaters.
Yes.
And the sister or the
Yes.
girlfriend didn't relate to the. Okay, gotcha. I
Different
understand.
women
Yes.
connected by the fact that they're both having both the brothers are in affair situations. Their mother must be very proud.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine just being like, oh, here are my two darling boys. Wait, you got one person pregnant, and you're making love with someone in a sinkhole, and the husband like hurt himself. What is wrong with you? I don't know. I wonder what it's like being Sandoval's mom right now. And he also took her retirement money and put it into his restaurant. And
Wait.
oh yeah, Tom Sandoval, he took his mom's retirement fund because she was a firefighter, and he put that money in Schwartz and Sandy's, which took forever to open. And I think, well, I don't know if it's generating money now, but basically there is a deep dark sinkhole of no money that they need to fill. And it's not filled with money, it's filled with scandal.
Oh boy. Poor mother.
Oh gosh. I imagine being a firefighter and then having one of your kids use that money to make another restaurant and then realize they're in like one of the biggest scandals in reality TV show history, or like one of the biggest
Yikes.
affair scandals in reality TV history. Also, Mike, the brother has like 2 brain cells on a good day.
On a very good day. The one that got the sister
Oh.
pregnant.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I joke that he always looks like he's thinking about what he's gonna have for dinner that night, no matter what's happening. So they're like, you broke my heart, Mike. You slept with my sister, and now she's pregnant with your daughter. And he's just like, looking like, well, I could get Firehouse subs, but I had Firehouse subs last week. Like he just like got that look on his face.
Oh, oh gosh, that just kind of I'm thinking of all the different scandals and affairs happening on TV, and I'm just like, yes, men with two brain cells. I remember on Below Deck Sailing Yacht, it had like a really rough first season, but it had like the biggest like turnaround in history, where season 2 through 4 has been really good. And one of the guys on there, like his first and second season, he was just basically like, I want to have fun. I don't want long-term relationships with any of these women. And like it got really messy in season 3, where the woman he had a relation with is like, but I love, or but I want to have a relationship, and he's like, no, I'm gonna pursue this other woman. And so it was just a whole mess. And now this season, one of the individuals he's having relations with is like, I just want casual relations, and he's like, but I want a future. And she's just like, I don't care.
Oh my god. We're trying to explain as the world turns to Gabe.
Oh gosh, I'm just thinking like you could, like, the map would be more intricate than the Once Upon a Time map at the moment. It's just like, these two people are related, and this person had an affair, and this person had an affair, and now this person's pregnant, and this person's husband fell out of a treehouse. Plot twist: the sinkhole brother sabotaged the ladder because he knew the husband was coming home early.
Well, and then they're like, the granddaughter is like, I'm gonna go look for clues in the treehouse, and he's like, no, don't go do that. And we're like, what are they gonna find in the tree? What is he gonna find in the treehouse? Mark!
I have an infrared light. No!
Oh, God. I'm pulling up this clip to show you this one clip because I don't think words can really describe. Where was it?
Oh, this is random. Have you seen an animated video where there's, I think, a ferret and a platypus, and the ferret has a black light looking around the room? He's like, okay, this is normal. But then he points the black light on the platypus, and the platypus just has, and like the caption was like, for platypi like shine under UV lights, but scientists don't know why. But in the context of the short, the guy's looking around a hotel room with the black light, and it's just everywhere, and on the platypus, and he's like, what does it mean?
What does it mean?
And
oh,
he's
God.
like, and later he's like the platypus is in the shower trying to clean themselves.
So this is how an episode starts.
Oh gosh.
Pretty much.
Puppies.
I know, the puppies.
As the world turns.
Wait, did we? Hang on.
Oh.
This is not the couple that's cheating.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Cheating. Oh yeah, all the time.
Comes with being in love.
Comes with being in love. Where's the part that I wanted to show you? Ah.
Oh.
This is how the scene just starts. This is the wife that's cheating. And that's the guy she's cheating on him with. He works for him.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Taylor, you gotta wake up. I need you to get well.
Mike is the definition of a himbo derogatory.
Oh.
Also, wait. Also, the other half of the story is like a crime drama.
Oh. He's awake. He knows.
Oh yeah, the granddaughter is close to the same age as his wife that's cheating on him, but put that out of your mind for a second.
Another marriage, all that fun stuff.
Oh, God, thank God.
I'm so excited for tomorrow too, Milo. We're kind of winding down our stream a little early today, but we were just talking, and then I wanted to. I wanted Gabe to understand.
Is there something you want to tell me? Yes. My brother's friend is pregnant with his baby.
As the world turns. There's also this other side story of this lady who 2 of the characters survived a plane crash.
Of course.
One other character died in the plane crash, but I still think he's gonna come back eventually because it's soap opera. But anyway, 2 of the characters survived, and one of the ones that survived is blind, tragically.
Oh.
There's this weird plot where like the instructor from the school, the blind, wants her husband to think that she's cheating with him, but she's not. Because he's having a secret relationship with the girl that the husband was cheating with, and she wants to get even with him for going back to his wife that's now blind.
Of course.
Yeah.
That seems totally normal.
And body wash commercials.
Wow,
There's a lot
body
of those.
wash.
I'm
I'm surprised it's not the soap opera actors doing it.
Is this the... Oh, this isn't the one we've seen yet. We can't see this one yet.
Oh no, don't look at it.
Don't look at it.
Oh, pushing gurneys. Oh, I remember that
Oh, I'm
feeling.
sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh,
it's not.
I'm so sorry.
No, I just remember that feeling. A little bit with nostalgia. Other times, not so much.
It's all very silly.
Wait, why does the doctor want to change?
Wait, what?
Or they were like, we're going to have another doctor or something.
I don't really think that part was important, but basically they were just telling him, like, we're gonna take him into surgery. He's gonna be fine. He flatlines. He's gonna be fine. He comes back, but just barely. He's fine! And then the doctor has the gall to be like to the family. They're like, how's he doing? Honestly, we don't know. He might not pull through. And it's just like, what doctor would say that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, aren't they blunt? I don't know.
I'm glad that you get a chance to say hello, Milo. I'm sorry, we're just like, hi, Milo. In a minute, bye, Milo. But yeah. Tomorrow we'll read more of our creepy thriller drama about the fan stalking the guys.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, I want them to be in a secret relationship. And that's when I talked about Kiss Him, Not Me. But yeah.
But yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading this This was a book. This was one of the books of all time.
Or Jetson, I can't remember his name. Good for him for being such a good sport about 3 children stalking him.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stalking subplots lately. Don't know what that's all about. But
don't stalk the people.
Don't stalk anybody. But thank you guys for hanging out. I like this picture because it's the coffin with like the beach ball, the sunglasses, and the suntan.
Yeah, you just everyone or a truck just pulls up and pulls out a coffin, and then you look away, look back, it's empty, and you're like, why is there a coffin here? Then you just see someone super pale covered in sunscreen.
Yep.
Oh gosh, my feet are a different color than my ankles because wearing shoes out in the sun, and so my legs get tan, but my feet do not. And then even though I'm a swim coach, I put on too powerful of sunscreen so it doesn't like match by the end of it, and I'm just like, I can't burn, I'm ginger.
Oh no.
Oh no. Or that's a JoJo's reference. It's from Attack on Titan episode 1 abridged, where they do that. Is that a JoJo's reference? Aaron, your mom just got eaten by a titan. We can't have JoJo's references. What? There's always time for a JoJo's reference. All right, I did make a JoJo's reference. Oh no! Oh my god! Mikasa's like, what the F is going on here?
That's funny.
Yeah. You're just like, what? Everyone's like, what is happening? And I'm like, I'm just getting on a tangent, everybody. It's fine.
Also, the other survivor. Oh yeah, the other plane crash survivor. This is back to Soap Opera World. She's a cop who's got a lot going on, and also took her child into an active crime scene because she forgot that he was in the back seat. Yeah, she's got him in the back seat, and she's like, do, and they're like, active shootout situation, and she's like, I'm a cop, I'm on it. So she goes and participates in the active shootout, and then afterwards, she's like, my child was in the car, witnessed all of it, and the bullets from my gun hit the windshield where he was sitting. Yeah.
Oh.
Are you stressed yet?
I'm so stressed, and let me guess, she still got to keep custody.
Oh yeah. We like her though, so.
Oh, we like. Okay.
The alternative is his somehow even shittier dad.
How?
It's a long story.
Oh gosh. Oy vey. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm just imagining it just looking at the papers being like, okay, you did this, you took your kid to an active crime scene, okay, you get custody after everything he's done. I mean, oh,
Yeah. She's also a cop, and her husband is the district attorney, so that's probably a conflict of interest, but
Oh,
no one
gosh.
seems to care about that.
I just that just sounds so messy, and I just feel like they would never see each other or would just hate each other.
I mean, they kind of do. Sometimes they're like power couple goals, and then sometimes they're just like, this is so messy. And we're like, yeah, that tracks.
Do either of them have affairs?
Not that we've seen so far.
What?
But honestly, they've both been on the show for like 30 years, so it might have happened like before we started watching it.
I can't imagine, or it'd be interesting to be like fake married to someone for so long and then just be like, oh yeah, you're not my spouse. Whoopsies.
Well, not on soap operas, because you're not going to be married to the same person for long. You're going to get like divorced because somebody cheated, and then you're going to reconcile. But then like somebody's evil twin is going to be involved, and then somebody's sister is going to be pregnant, and then somebody's cousin is going to be in the picture, but they're not going to know it's their cousin until it's almost too late. Like, there's just a lot going on.
Oh gosh, that just reminds me of the spoiling the ending of Old Boy. Josh Brolin's in it, and it's just like plot twist. I'm not gonna say what the plot twist is, but it's just like, oh, the length someone goes to get revenge.
Ooh.
But yeah, oh gosh, I can't imagine dating someone and being like, oh wait, that's the name of my grandmother. Oh wait. That's your great aunt?
Oh. Because the dad isn't legally recognized as his father. Her husband is the legal father. Also, oh yeah, there's a whole like the biological father isn't recognized as the father, like on the birth certificate. So her husband is recognized as the legal father. So the biological father has no custody rights at all. He's also working in the I think he's like the police chief. So he hears about this situation, bringing their kid to a crime scene, and he's like super pissed. He's like big mad. We need to watch soap operas with Gabe sometime.
I would be so confused.
That's part of the fun. We're all kind of a little confused.
I mean, I'm able to keep up with anime stuff, and I'm able to try to sum up Vanderpump Rules in like 2 hours, but soap operas are just too much.
Well, now they were co-workers, but now he's the boss because her husband got her demoted because she was trying to get therapy for her PTSD.
For the plane crash?
Yes.
Or you know what? I want the biological dad and the husband to end up together. Because, you know what? I don't care if there's no chemistry between, or if they never interacted before in the show. I want them to meet each other and be like, hey you, this woman sucks. Yeah, let's take her down. Yeah. And
no. Margot's actually the cool one. Like, her husband is the one. So she was getting therapy for PTSD because of the plane crash, and her husband was like, we should use that PTSD therapy against her. So he reported her, and they demoted her. So she's like a rung down from where she used to be in like the detective ranking, because her husband was just like, your PTSD means that you can't do a good job. Even though you're getting therapy for it. It's fine. It's fine.
It's because you're a woman, and you should process your feelings without therapy.
Oh yeah, and then there's like overt racism plotline. Yeah, there's like this white supremacist that gets arrested, and then like the police chief, or not the police chief, the like district attorney's office forces like the one like black woman lawyer to defend him, and like they're threatening like her family if she does it. It's like it's a whole thing. It's very bad, not good. It's a lot.
Can't we just go back to me having the biological dad and the husband falling in love?
Yeah, let's go back to that.
But wait, we like the biological dad even though he has no
we really don't, because the biological dad is the one that got her demoted, and then the biological dad is the one that's kind of an asshole to the kid that he does have custody of, and then the not biological dad, her new husband, is the one that's got her demoted. So
they're perfect for each other.
yeah.
Or that just reminds me of in Steven Universe. This is really random. This reminds me of Steven Universe Future, where there's a character by the name of Bluebird Azurite, who is a fusion between Aquamarine and the Eyeball Ruby, who both basically bond over a hatred of Steven, and that's the only thing that can keep them together. And I'm just like, you know what? That's fine. And like Steven's just like, here, you need to find common goals. And they're like, oh, with your speeches, shut up. Oh my gosh, I hated speeches too. Oh my gosh, let's be together. Okay, let's go. And I'm just like, ugh.
Well, there's also, I personally want to see Margot with the blind lady, because they were both in the plane crash and they trauma bonded together and they howled at the moon like werewolves.
Aww. You know what? Yes, have those two get together, have the husband and biological dad get together, have them all become, or have the dude bros become better people, because they're like, maybe we shouldn't be a-holes, but because I'm happy now and I'm realizing the error of my ways.
Oh, also, what was I just gonna say? There was another thing. There was another messy part of this.
Oh god. Did it relate to the white supremacist storyline?
No. It related to Margot, and there was something. Oh. So sorry, that was
It's
loud.
all
I'm
good.
so
Yeah, it's all
sorry.
good.
So Margot and her husband, who's not the biological father but the recognized legal father of her kid, their parents are huge rivals. They hate each other because this one's mom, like his mom, got her dad fired from his position as a doctor because she fraudulently reported him for medical malpractice. It's a whole thing. There was a trial. So he lost his job. So, but when the plane crash happens, both of their loved ones, they both have loved ones that are on the plane, and they don't know that they're going to live, so they trauma bond. And then they want to get married, which creates an awkward situation, because now Margot and her husband, their parents are going to get married. So...
Step sibling.
But, like, they were married first and for, like, a long time before, so, like, they're just like... Margot and Sammy should absolutely be a couple. Yes, Sammy is the blind woman. Yes.
Oh gosh, all the trauma but is trauma bonding can that like contain a relationship, or does that need a
Probably not, but it's the best we got to work with.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, this person had an affair, this person had an affair, this person is the biological father of this person but is legally not recognized as like the father of this person. Oh, that just reminds me of Eva from Cycle 3 of America's Next Top Model. She had a storyline on Real Housewives of Atlanta where basically her almost now ex-husband is basically like the legal father of her eldest daughter. And so she had a moment of just being like, yes, my child's biological dad, he'll never get custody, he's not legally recognized, oh, this is so great. And then now it's just like, oh, by the way, they're getting divorced now, and they cited irreparable damages, but he's just like, I'm going to fight for my marriage. And a lot of people are like, maybe if someone wants to divorce due to earring consecutive
It's a lost cause.
You're
gonna have to walk away.
Yeah, it's just like but I just feel so bad for her because she's just gone through a lot.
Oh yeah, someone is actively trying to murder the blind lady too.
Why? What did she know?
So again, her husband was having an affair while she was going down in a plane crash. He didn't know that, but he felt extra shitty after he found out. But she lives, but she's blind. So, the co-worker / I think is the same woman who was the mistress. She wants to get back at this guy, who also did a bunch of like federal crimes and stuff, but we've swept that under the rug. Everybody's forgotten about that. It doesn't matter. What we care about is the fact that his wife is actively being gaslit and murdered. And when I say gaslit, she is blind, and the coworker that's trying to get even with the husband who cheated on her is sleeping with the instructor from the school of the blind, and they're in cahoots. So she's blind, unable to see in the home alone, and they're like leaving doors unlocked to like break in and like take screwdrivers and like bang around on stuff to freak her out and like actively put her life in danger, but like they want to scare her first. And then the instructor comes back and it's just like, there's no one here, you must have been hallucinating because you're unable of taking care of yourself. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Oh gosh, one of the worst things that have happened is the Real Housewives learning the word gaslighting without knowing what it was.
Oh, so many people.
So now you have people being like, you're gaslighting me because you don't agree with my opinion.
My favorite thing is the people who do genuinely gaslight have also learned the term gaslight now. So now, as soon as they're like about to get called out on like what they're doing, they're like, you're the one that's gaslighting me, actually. And I'm like, it's gaslightception. Yeah. Oh my god.
And I was listening to Watch What Crappens, and Ronnie and Ben were like, or I think it was Ronnie who was just like, oh yeah, or you know, it's dangerous when a lot of these Bravo celebrities say they're going to therapy because now they've learned the lingo and are able to like weasel their way out of being terrible people and learn the word gaslight. And I'm just like, but it's not as bad as, oh, I want to get back at the guy I had an affair with, so I'm going to make the wife who's blind look like she's crazy and gaslight her.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's pretty low. It's just like, yeah, let's mess with the visually impaired person.
Oh gosh. Now I'm just imagining just a scene where she falls and hits her head and it's just like, oh my goodness. Because I remember there was the story of the woman who fell and hit her head on a desk.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right. If that happens, I'm going to text you and be like, you were right. If Sammy gets her vision back because she falls and hits her head during this whole, like, she's being freaked out by active home intruders, which honestly has probably, I think something like that happened on Young and the Restless years ago. Different show. This is As the World Turns, but Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful are connected. Bold and the Beautiful is America's youngest sitcom. It's only been on for 5 years only, which is young for soap operas. Most of them have been on since like the 50s.
Oh my gosh, and they're still going.
Well, Guiding Light ended in 2009, and it started on radio before TV in the 1930s, early 1930s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they had to keep coming up with reasons for the name to make sense, because at a certain point you're like, this is literally just a different show now. None of the characters are the same. These are all different people, and there's like 40 of them, which is a high bar.
I can't imagine having like that big of a cast on something.
Gaslighters use the term gaslight to gaslight people is proof we live in the darkest timeline. It's true though. Gaslight has become such a colloquial thing that gaslighters, when you try to call them out on like being manipulative, they're like, you're gaslighting me by saying that I'm being manipulative of you, and you're just like, oh, fuck, it's gaslightception. Oh god.
They're trying to make me look crazy, and now I'm catching them in their lies, and they're still trying to make me look crazy. I remember, I remember there was one show that I was watching where it's just like, my brain is just all over the place, and it's like, on Real Housewives of New Jersey, basically, the main character, or one of the housewives, Teresa, she's basically with Louis, and Louis basically trying to separate her from her family so he could be like, yes, you're all mine now, mwahaha. But and apparently he like hired Bo Dietl, which is like a very famous detective, to like get dirt on everybody, and it's getting really dark and nasty.
Sounds dark.
And like Teresa was like just making up with her brother and sister-in-law because Teresa hates Melissa, and they had a feud early on, but then it kind of got a little better after Teresa's previous husband, also named Joe, was out of the picture. So it's like, yay, we're family again. And then Louis steps in and he's just like, no, Teresa, I love you. Everyone else is against you. And it's just like, he's separating her from the people who can help her, and he's being manipulative and gaslighting. And he also love bombs.
Great.
And love bombing is like when you're like, I love you, you're amazing. And he's like, here's a gigantic list of all the reasons why I love you.
And then you're just like, and here's also the reason why Yeah, it's like when you're like overly like nice to somebody and somebody's like, wow, they're great. And then they start or like, now I can manipulate you because you like me. And it's just like, ah, couldn't you have just kept being nice?
Yes, yeah, I remember when I learned the term love bombing, and I'm like, oh no, but then it's like, but then you can be mean to him. I'm like, oh phew, I'm not mean to anybody.
Oh.
Just kidding. I'm mean to a lot of people, mainly the swimmers on swim team when they don't know what they're doing. And I'm like, please swim. Why?
Please swim.
It's whenever they ask me questions when I'm working bullpen, when I sort of am like, or like that's when like, I went or like. I think, yeah, my anxiety is like up here, and I'm like, I just need to get people where they need to go. Why are you asking me questions? But it's like they don't know, and it's just like,
how old are your kids this year? I've asked you this before.
Well, we coach kids from ages 4 to 17. So it's just a wide mixed genre of kids. But just imagine having to see like 80 total kids for 76 events by yourself.
Ugh.
So there have been times where
I'm sure they're lovely kids, but that sounds like anxiety.
Yeah, but there have been some times where I'm just like, what? Sit over there. Wait for me to say where you need to go. Because it's just like, oh, where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to go? Those individuals have their feet in the pool. Oh, okay, thank you. Get out of the pool! Sit over here. Sit over here. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's not fine. But anyway, love bombing, manipulation.
How do you feel about? Do you feel for the PAs that have to deal with child wrangling now?
I've been feeling for.
Oh, I mean, but like on an extra special level now.
Well, I feel like those kids are more well behaved. I don't. I mean, I have a lot of respect for PAs, but I've just thought about it now, where it's just like, oh yeah, there are people who have to like wrangle kids the whole time.
Natasha has been specifically hired as a literal job description, child wrangler.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I'll just text her and be like, how you doing? She's like, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, luckily I only have to deal with the bullpen for like 2 to 3 hours. But I can't imagine. I have newfound respect for PAs who have to deal with children.
Respeto.
Oh god, because there's a severe lack of it in the house. You don't. I was kind of team Anne, where it's just like she's being messy, so like write it with a knife, but because I think Cassie thought she was writing it with her fingers, but then Anne took it too far with the, well, I'm gonna tell them about your disordered eating, and it's just like, and she's like, I already told Tyra. Oh gosh, it was Cycle 3 with I forgot to mention during the podcast that's going to come out, Yaya, her storyline of being a dancer, and they're like, oh, your athletic body.
Oh, we didn't talk about that? I thought we did.
I can't remember, but I was like, that and the 2 other things that I messaged you about that I don't want to say on here, because they can listen to the podcast for it.
Yeah.
For that information.
I'll ask Spencer tonight when we see him, presumably at dinner, to be like, so podcast? I'll also see if he can show you the intro that he made, because it's pretty cool. Also, I'm glad I got these crochet hooks. These are way better than my old crochet hooks. They have like a grippy handle.
Oh, they have fancy handles.
Yeah.
D&D update. The out-of-character drama created by recent in-character drama cliffhanger has been resolved, I think. Is the druid alive? Don't know. She's still unconscious because the next session is Tuesday, but we had some people react really bad.
Ooh.
So we had an emergency video call about it.
Oh.
Luckily, I think we talked it through and everyone is in a better place now.
Well, that's good. I
don't know what's happening.
It's their Dungeons and Dragons campaign that's been going on for a long time. I think they almost killed off one of like their long-term characters.
Whoops. That just reminds me of Critical Role and Vox Machina, and I'm just like, or I was thinking about like the direction where one of my favorite characters on the show is going, and I'm like, oh, I really hope it doesn't end badly. And then I remember there was like a random video that popped up on my Instagram that basically hinted that it doesn't end well, and then I looked at the campaign one for Critical Role and I realized that I hated the ending, so I'm just
Oh.
like,
I hate that.
this is why I like to rewatch shows that I've seen in the past, because I don't like things ending the way I don't want them to.
Oh, I
thing.
literally will rewatch the same 3 shows over and over and over again. And my dad and my brother, my mom and I love Monk, and we watch it over and over and over again. It's been on like the majority of the times you've come over to the house.
Yep.
Because we always just have it on in the background because it's like our comfort. We know how this ends and we like it show. And my dad and my brother are like, but didn't you just see this one? We're like, shh. This is the one with the nudist colony on the beach.
Oh yeah. And that one guy who voiced Batman at one point is the main guy.
Guy who voiced Did he?
Or there was like a Cartoon Network show where it was like more of a quirky, funny Batman.
Oh,
and
okay.
he voiced the guy. Oh, he was also the dad in Vampires Suck. He played Bella's dad in that, and he was funny. And yeah, comfort show, because a lot of the stuff that I've been watching is just, it's kind of sad, and I'm just like, eh. Because I recently watched Avatar: The Way of Water and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And
I haven't seen Spider-Verse yet.
Oh, it's really good. Watch it.
Okay.
But
But yeah, I know what you mean. You're just like, I just want to watch. That's like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is my like, oh, this is a funny show.
doesn't have too many trauma points.
No, it's basically just a show about this one cop precinct that's completely useless, but they're all trying very hard.
Oh, I remember seeing a few clips, and one of them was when he's having the individual sing tell me why
Well, I want it that way.
I want it that way. And then the individual standing next to him was like, that's the guy who unalived my brother. And he's like, oh, I forgot we were doing that.
Oh my
And
god, I
was just
forgot about that part. I love that scene.
It's funny, but I was just like,
Basically, my druid got sneak attacked by our guest player who joined the main villain group now, and everyone was very angry on my behalf while I was totally fine with it. Aww.
oh, okay.
It's always sweet when friends are angry on your behalf and you're like, guys, it's fine though. And they're like, no, it's not. Sit down.
Oh gosh. Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. I remember I've been listening to Dungeons and Daddies, and there are just a few points where I'm just like, oh, I don't like that this is happening. I want all good things to happen for all the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's fine. Everything's fine. You need to continue the story, so it needs to be sad. But How to Train Your Dragon 2 was just too sad for me.
Oh, it was so sad.
Yes, and I was just like, but why though?
I love How to Train Your Dragon.
It's so good. And I'm just Hiccup with his character growth.
Yes, his blow up.
Oh yes, I remember when like bearded Hiccup, I was like, wait, he looks like one of my friends.
Everybody always said he looked like Neville Longbottom because Neville Longbottom was
he got Neville Longbottom.
He got Neville Longbottom.
I just remember hearing a story where someone was on set and they're like, oh, where's Matthew, the guy who plays Neville? And they're like, he's right here. And the person's like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
You, okay. I remember seeing the actor who played Dudley out of his fat suit, and I was just like, wait, he was wearing a fat suit?
Aww.
And then he was just acting, and my sister was like, oh my gosh, that's Dudley. And I was like, what?
What?
Okay.
Yeah, it was very sweet, but one of our players just sent an angry letter to the DM and then blocked them temporarily on social. Oh god, yep.
Oh,
You're like, oh, friend
drama.
group is doing friend group drama things. Time to get on a Discord call.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
But I will say that one of my dreams is to play a character that's like nice in the beginning, but then is like, I've betrayed you now, pushes someone somewhere. Not to like take them out, but just be like, I've betrayed you, bye.
Bye.
But then be like, oh, they have a sad backstory. But my backstory would be, I just wanted to be bad for a minute. What do you mean I have consequences to deal with? What are you talking about? Okay, fine, I guess I'll help. I know I'm the problem. Hello, hi, it's me, I'm the problem.
That sounds like a very fun bad guy.
but then I would just join the other bad guys, and they're like, "We're serious bad guys," and I'm just like, "Oh no,
Oh,
I'm
I don't
in
know.
too deep."
I'm in too deep.
But
It's been sorted out now. But we almost lost a friend over a D&D subplot.
Oh,
That's wild.
oh my goodness,
I'm glad you didn't.
I'm happy everything's kind of working out. Unlike how it did in Critical Role. I'm trying to think of something else that I watched recently where I was just like, I'm sad after watching this. But I've been watching Bluey, so I've been happy the whole time.
Except for the one time. Wasn't there like a really sad thing in Bluey? Isn't Bluey the one that like hits you with the sad episodes every once in a while and everybody's just like, I was crying watching Bluey?
I can't remember if that was Bluey or something else that I was watching where I was like, oh, this is sad. But I know, yeah, Bluey has, it's like, oh, like, yeah, I don't think I've seen any like sad episodes yet, but there are like really sad moments where that there are lessons to be told, and it's like, oh, lessons. I know there's like a really bittersweet ending where she befriends a dog or a fellow canine that's French Canadian, so he only speaks French, and his name is Jean-Luc, and they bond even though they don't understand each other. And then spoiler, at the end she doesn't realize that his family is leaving. She's like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow. And it's really bittersweet because they both planted a pine cone that grew into a tree, and every year she would visit the pine tree, and after a few years she hears, hello Bluey, and it's Jean-Luc, and they see each other after a few years, and it's like, oh, that's so sad.
That's
and so happy.
Cute.
Yeah, and there are other sad moments like oh gosh, it's really sad where basically it's just like the mom is trying to talk to Bluey about her sister. It's like, oh, why haven't we seen our aunt in a while? It's like, oh, our you know how you have the onesie that you want but it doesn't fit right? Yeah, well, there's something that your aunt wants that she can't have, and it's hinted that it's kids.
Aww.
And then Bluey's just like, well, why can't she just get what she wants? And the mom's just like, well, sometimes unfortunately it doesn't work out that way. And so it's just like, oh,
I love when shows don't talk down to kids though. Like, you know, like tells them about like real stuff in like an age appropriate way. That's always nice.
Yeah, but of course people are trying to get it banned.
Of course.
And there are a few.
How dare you teach my child about real world things?
Yeah, and apparently there were 2 episodes that were banned because one involved a fart joke and one involves, I can't remember the word, but it said a random word, and it might be separate from the episode, but there's one where the dad he has like a baby carrier, and like he gives birth to his daughter, and that's one of the episodes that were banned. But I think there was a word that was said in the episode, not the a man giving birth thing, but it could have been that. But I was just like, ugh. Luckily I've watched people watch the episode, so I kind of know what's going on. But
that's good.
Yeah, and I've been watching Amphibia. And I'm at the beginning of one episode, it's like the last few minutes have really graphic imagery. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're like, Disney?
And I'm like, oh, okay, Disney. I'm also very bitter at Disney for canceling the Owl House, but luckily they were able to wrap up the story very nicely.
Yeah, between the Owl House and Mysterious Benedict Society, I'm just like, no. They took it off of Disney Plus, and I'm like, why?
That just reminds me of HBO Max, now Max, taking off Infinity Train. Yep,
everybody was mad about that. I haven't even seen it, and I know everybody's mad about that.
It's so good. And season 3 gets so dark, but it's so... I've watched one of the clips near the end of season 3 so many times. Because it's like kind of light, and then dark, then darker, then kind of light again. And it was supposed to be really dark after that because they're going into the backstory of a character with the tragic backstory. So it's just like, oh. And Lena Headey voices that character. So it's like, you mean we had Cersei and you ruined it?
What did you do?
Yeah, so I'm just like, I want Infinity Train back, please.
Like, the thing is, the attack on my character makes sense in character because the person who attacked her was betrayed by the character who was my character. I got you. So it made sense, but everybody else was like, hey.
Why would you do that?
Aw.
I just can't imagine being in D&D and just being like, okay, so my character takes out a knife. Or it's just like roll for sleight of hand to have me have a knife that no one else sees and roll to attack. And run away.
Run away! Run away!
It's fine. Let's just heal. Oh no, I got a 1. Okay, we have these potions. Oh no, I've dropped all of them.
I've dropped all of them.
All the potions.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Well, I'm glad that worked out.
I hope your character lives and everything's fine.
Everything's fine. We should probably go eat.
Well, yeah, probably.
Probably.
We're so awake now. Earlier, we're like, oh, this book is dying.
I literally barely remember that one chapter that I was reading. I was like nodding off while I was reading it.
Oh no.
I'm so tired.
And now we're like, as the world turns and drama. And
Yep.
And now next week we're probably gonna watch Australia's Next Top Model.
Yep.
And we get to see all that problematic stuff. I would highly recommend starting with cycle 3 first, because that's kind of where the drama comes in, and you have like one of the most, or like the winner of the cycle basically guaranteed like the next 5 cycles for this show, because she was just that good
Oh,
at being a model.
nice.
And she's a ginger. Spoilers.
nice.
But yeah.
But also like, yeah, I'll just have to see if it's all on YouTube, so we probably should be okay. But like, I'll check it out anyway, because that doesn't always mean that we can stream it. I don't always understand.
How rude.
The thing is, like, they did 7 attacks on my character because it's a high level campaign, and so she's unconscious still.
Oh.
Ooh, pulling through.
I hope your character makes a full recovery.
But thank you guys for hanging out with us.
112? Oh my god.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yo, that's a lot. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with us, guys.
Thank you for being here, everybody.
Thank you for reading in the closet with me, Gabe.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me and letting me eat your food.
No problem. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Now it's time for MILF Manor.
Oh my